Doctor finds strange implants. The most contentious element of the UFO extraterrestrial phenomenon, which undoubtedly sends shivers down the spine, revolves around the perplexing topic of entities interacting with humans. This enigmatic and perplexing occurrence has long fascinated and unsettled individuals worldwide. During regressive hypnosis, individuals who claim to have been taken often recount experiences of extraterrestrial beings rendering them immobile, levitating them from their sleeping quarters to an operation table inside a UFO by seemingly passing through solid barriers like walls, windows, or doors without any hindrance. These accounts frequently involve detailed descriptions of undergoing invasive medical procedures on their reproductive organs before being returned to their original location. Interestingly, many individuals report being taken not from their residences, but from distant places, sometimes even while inside their vehicles, reminiscent of the well-known case of Betty and Barney Hill. Their documented and widely reported incident on a remote road in 1961 marked one of the earliest detailed records of such encounters. Research findings indicate that in the vast majority of instances, individuals who have experienced encountering entities do not have conscious recollections of these events. It is only through hypnosis that they can recollect the details of their encounters. This suggests that these beings possess a telepathic capability to access the thoughts of the individuals, not only suppressing their ability to remember, but also implanting what is known as a screen memory, a fabricated recollection intended to overshadow any memory of the incident. This phenomenon underscores a complex interplay between the human mind and the purported influence of alien entities, shedding light on the intricacies of these reported encounters and the psychological mechanisms at play within the realm of alleged encounters. In exploring the factors that prompt individuals who believe they have been taken by advanced beings to consider seeking support from therapists specializing in regressive hypnosis, a fundamental question arises. What instigates these individuals to suspect that they might have experienced such an event, especially when there is no conscious memory of it? Delving into the depths of this phenomenon, it becomes crucial to unravel the intricate psychological mechanisms at play. The intricate web of subconscious cues, unresolved emotions, and unexplained sensations may serve as subtle indicators that something out of the ordinary has occurred. Individuals report finding trace evidence on their skin, which they photograph and submit to support groups. Typically, the day after their encounter, they'll notice marks, which may or may not feel sore, that they can't explain. They've no knowledge of how they acquired them. Bruises that are commonly found are assumed to result from the use of restraints to immobilize the individuals during certain procedures. Similarly, puncture marks, resembling those made by needles, frequently appear in a triangular layout resembling the bite of a three-fanged snake. Additionally, there are clusters of marks arranged in grid-like or geometric patterns. These patterns suggest intentional infliction, possibly for purposes such as control or intimidation. The bruises and marks described are indicative of a deliberate and calculated process, likely meant to instill fear or exert control over the individuals subjected to such actions, shedding light on the potential psychological torment experienced by those taken. Some individuals mention that the marks left by alleged extraterrestrial encounters tend to diminish over time. However, there are cases where these marks persist and result in what is known as a scoop mark. This type of mark is believed to be a consequence of a process akin to a medical procedure known as a punch biopsy, which is commonly employed in human medicine to extract a sample of skin for further analysis in a laboratory setting. This specific marking phenomenon has intrigued researchers and those involved in UFO experiences due to its resemblance to a medical procedure, sparking discussions about the potential implications and origins of these peculiar marks. The discovery of a distinct type of marking was initially made by Daryl Sims, the chief investigator at the Houston UFO Network. These peculiar marks exhibit fluorescence, only becoming visible when exposed to ultraviolet light. The majority of these marks emit a vibrant yellow-green hue, while others display a reddish-pink coloration. These luminescent imprints have been documented on various areas of the body, including limbs, torso, and facial regions, manifesting as either haphazard blotches or intentional patterns. While some marks are superficial and can be easily removed, others penetrate deeper layers of the skin. The The substance responsible for this phenomenon is situated beneath the surface. If left undisturbed, this subcutaneous afterglow typically diminishes within a time frame ranging from 1 to 14 days. Through meticulous observation and analysis, Sims has shed light on these enigmatic markings, unraveling their unique properties and behaviors in the realm of unidentified objects. Renowned researcher and accomplished author Eve Lorgan has delved deeper into the extensive implications of these fluorescence discoveries. The question arises as to whether the puncture marks found could potentially serve as evidence of an implanted tracking device designed to monitor the movements of the individual who has been taken. This scenario mirrors the concept of an radiofrequency identification microchip commonly placed beneath the skin of household pets, such as dogs and cats, for identification purposes, raising concerns about the possible use of similar technology in human subjects. In the realm of investigating the implant facet of the phenomenon with scientific rigor, the late Dr. Roger Lear deserves substantial gratitude. Dr. Lear, a dedicated podiatric surgeon in private practice, dedicated over 4 decades to the meticulous examination and management of foot, ankle, and lower extremity disorders. His profound expertise and unwavering commitment to his field enabled him to delve deeply into the complexities of the phenomenon, shedding light on previously unexplored dimensions. Additionally, he was well versed in the widespread belief, circulating since the 1970s, that individuals subjected to these encounters were implanted with tracking devices or other foreign objects. Despite his background as a logical and analytical medical practitioner, Lear maintained a strong sense of skepticism regarding such theories. However, a serendipitous encounter with Daryl Sims at a UFO convention in 1995 proved to be a pivotal moment that not only challenged his skepticism, but also redefined the course of his life. This encounter marked a turning point that led Lear down a path of exploration and discovery beyond his previous reservations, propelling him into a world of possibilities that he had never imagined. Sims had delved deep into the investigations surrounding 2 individuals residing in Texas, specifically a man identified as Pat Parinello and a woman known by the alias Mary Jones. Both individuals, who were in their middle age, had reported encounters with beings from another world. A peculiar revelation came to light during X-ray examinations. Within the tissues of Pat's hand and Mary's big toe, unusual objects were discovered, leaving them bewildered. What made this discovery even more intriguing was the fact that neither of them had undergone any prior surgical procedures or experienced accidents that could explain the presence of these mysterious objects. This anomaly added a layer of complexity to Sims's investigation, sparking a quest for answers that intertwined with the enigmatic and unexplained nature of their experiences with extraterrestrial phenomena. Lear agreed with Sims. He would operate on these 2 individuals, excise the objects, and submit them to thorough scientific examination and analysis. The 2 patients were to travel to Lear's private clinic in California and undergo the procedures, for which he waived his normal medical fees. During the surgical procedures, the overall processes were deemed relatively uncomplicated. However, Lear noted a specific incident where he spent approximately an hour searching for a particular object, which was intricately entwined within fibrous tissue and required precise extraction. The meticulous nature of this task highlighted the complexity involved in the surgical procedure. This incident served as a testament to the detailed and delicate nature of the surgeries performed. The items underwent scrutiny from a pair of pathologists prior to being dispatched for extensive evaluation at external research facilities such as New Mexico Tech and the National Institute of Discovery of Science. These entities collectively conducted a series of rigorous examinations and assessments, delving deeply into the nature of the objects to extract valuable insights and data. The pathologists meticulously inspected the items, ensuring thorough examination before entrusting them to renowned laboratories renowned for their cutting-edge research capabilities. Metallurgical analysis involves the examination of materials at a microscopic level to determine their properties and composition. It encompasses various techniques such as pathology and tissue examination, density immersion measurements, X-ray energy, dispersive spectroscopy for elemental analysis, and investigating isotopic elements. The findings, though not definitive, posed a significant puzzle. Dr. Lear noted that in both instances, the objects did not trigger any inflammation. Typically, When a foreign object enters tissue, it triggers an inflammatory reaction in the surrounding area, potentially causing fibrosis and cyst development. However, this response was conspicuously absent. It seemed as if the immune system had somehow been convinced to recognize the objects as a natural component of the body. This scenario raises intriguing questions about how these foreign objects interacted with the body's immune system, leading to their integration without the typical inflammatory response. The absence of inflammation in these cases challenges conventional medical expectations and highlights a unique phenomenon that warrants further investigation and analysis. Upon examination, the pathology report revealed that the items were enclosed within a remarkably strong grey membrane consisting of a mixture of protein-based coagulum, hemosiderin, and keratin. To simplify, these are essentially blood proteins and cells typically found on the skin's outer layer. What stood out as unusual was the presence of proprioceptors, nerve cells responsible for sensing pressure and movement within the membrane, which differed from the expected cells in that specific area of the body. Additionally, when exposed to UV light, the membrane emitted a peculiar bright green fluorescent glow. This discovery not only sheds light on the composition of the membrane, but also highlights the unexpected presence of specific nerve cells and the intriguing fluorescence observed under UV illumination. The results from the laboratory examinations uncovered that the items enclosed within the membranes exhibited exceedingly peculiar metallic characteristics. These objects were composed of a minimum of 11 elements that exhibited a strong correlation with the elements typically present in meteorites. This correlation implies a compelling inference that these objects did not originate from Earth, hinting at an extraterrestrial origin. The anomalous metallic properties observed in the lab tests, along with the striking resemblance of the elemental composition to meteoritic elements, provide substantial evidence pointing towards an off-world source for these enigmatic objects. When examining whether the objects in question were alien implants, the analysis fell short of providing a definitive answer to this perplexing inquiry. However, the findings yielded were remarkably unusual and captivating, prompting Dr. Lear to embark on additional investigative endeavors. Throughout this journey, he established his own platform, which was meticulously designated to document and share insights on the research project with the public. The discovery revealed that all objects were located near the skin's surface, with none detected in internal organs or deeper tissues. This led Lear to speculate that these items were purposely inserted in these particular locations, perhaps chosen due to their accessibility and ease of implantation during this process. This finding indicates a deliberate and strategic placement of the objects within the human body. The proximity of the objects to the skin suggests a meticulous and calculated approach by the unknown entities responsible for their placement. During his research, he also postulated that a bone structure could potentially serve as an antenna for establishing communication with the implants. Prior to their extraction, he utilized a Gauss meter, also known as a magnetometer, to scan the implant location for any electromagnetic emissions emanating from the objects. To his astonishment, he discovered that the implants emitted radio waves at frequencies of 8 Hz, 14 MHz, and 19 GHz. These emissions, which ceased within a period of 60 to 90 days after removal, indicated that the objects might have been drawing energy from the host's body while implanted. This phenomenon suggested a unique interaction between the implants and the body's electromagnetic field, highlighting a potentially symbiotic relationship between the two entities. Steve Colburn, a materials scientist and expert in nanotechnology, further elaborated on the discoveries made by the team, revealing the presence of intrinsic electronic circuitry composed of carbon nanotubes. These carbon nanotubes consist of sheets only 1 atom thick, rolled into tubular structures, and their behavior can be manipulated to function either as a metal or a semiconductor, depending on factors such as the radius and chiral rolling angle. The remarkable revelation of this finding unequivocally points towards a singular reality. The creation of these objects was orchestrated by an individual or an organization utilizing exceptionally sophisticated technology. Dr. Lear stood as a pivotal and widely revered personality in the realm of UFO and extraterrestrial studies, commanding deep respect for his contributions. Traveling globally, he delivered an extensive array of lectures, sharing his profound insights on the subject. Noteworthy is his role as the medical consultant for the Mutual UFO Network, underscoring his expertise and involvement in the field. Dr. Lear authored an insightful piece, merely days prior to his passing. The article delved into topics surrounding unidentified phenomena. The mysterious case of Antonio Vilas Boas. Working as a farmer back in October of 1957, Antonio Vilas Boas would go on to be one of the first reported encounters with mysterious entities. According to his report, on the night of October 15, 1957, Antonio and his brother were out working in their fields when they began to notice a bright red light in the night sky. Originally, they had believed the light to have been a form of aircraft, but then, as time went on, they assumed that given its stationary position in the sky, it was most likely a star they had never noticed before. They would finish a portion of the fields that night with no further incident. On the night of October 16, 1957, Antonio was out working in his fields without the help of his brother well after the sun had set once again to avoid the scorching temperatures of the daytime. He was well equipped to work throughout the night, as he had done many times before, sitting on his tractor and ploughing his fields for the next few hours. Oddly enough, as Antonio was working, he then claimed to see the same bright red star as he witnessed on the previous night out in the distance. Although the bright red star was an anomaly, he wasn't too worried by it, as he and his brother had seen the red light the previous night, to which it seemingly displayed no strange patterns other than having moved a few times before. Unfortunately, Antonio was alone that night, without the aid of his brother, and so the situation would not be the same as the previous day. He continued to work, unsure of what he was seeing, keeping an eye on the strange red star seemingly unmoving across the sky, but appearing brighter and closer than the previous night. A few more moments passed before he began to notice that the red star was growing in size. Worried it could be any number of things, he quickly stopped working and looked over at the bright red light, trying to figure out what it could have been. He then began to realize that the bright red star wasn't growing in size, but that, rather, it was definitely some form of an aircraft quickly approaching his position. It was not long before he could make out the shape of the craft, a roughly circular or egg-shaped aerial craft with a bright red light at the front and a strange rotating tower protruding from the top, as the entire aircraft seemingly hovered without any visible mechanisms for propulsion. As the aircraft began to descend near the location of Antonio Vilas Boas, it began to protrude 3 extended legs to support the craft as it landed in the nearby fields. After seeing the craft descend, Antonio put his tractor into gear and tried to leave the area as fast as he could. After only a few seconds, however, his tractor completely died as all of the lights on the tractor shut off and its engine suddenly stopped. Believing the strange aircraft to have been responsible for this sudden shut-off, Antonio quickly jumped from the tractor and began running on foot through the fields, away from the landed craft. As Antonio was running, falling in and out of the soft, recently ploughed field, he was quickly captured by a small, 5-foot-tall humanoid creature wearing grey coveralls and a helmet. Though it's not specified whether or not the creature's helmet was that of a completely airtight system, or merely a protective gear worn on the head, Antonio does not specify that he was able to see the entirety of the humanoid's face that grabbed him. He only states that he noticed its eyes were small and blue, and that, as it spoke, it made noises similar to that of a bark or yelping sound. Shortly after the first humanoid seized Antonio, 3 more humanoids of similar description joined in and subdued him, rapidly dragging him inside of their aircraft as he fought to try to get away. Once dragged inside, the humanoid creatures then began to take Antonio's clothes off, as they then began to cover him from head to toe in a gelatinous compound. After being completely covered by the gelatinous compound, Antonio then described an overwhelming feeling of calmness that prevented him from fighting back, leaving many to assume that the strange compound had some sort of effect on his body. As he entered this new docile state, the humanoid figures led him towards a large semicircular room through a tight doorway that had a number of mysterious red symbols written all over it. It was at this point, when Antonio entered the room, that the true nature of the humanoid figures became obvious. The figures began to take samples of blood from Antonio's chin, leaving behind a deep mark that would later prove as evidence of the encounter, as the scar would last for over 2 years before properly healing. These figures then led him into a third room where they pumped a large amount of gas into the chamber that made Antonio violently ill. As Antonio was gasping for breath, believing he would soon be taken out, he saw the main door into the chamber open with a female humanoid creature standing in front of him. The female humanoid creature was described by Antonio Villas-Boas as being 5 foot tall, a height that was similar to the other beings he had encountered. The female humanoid also seemed to possess large, blue, cat-like eyes that made her appear to be inhuman. Additional facial features included a small, pointed chin. On her head, she had long blonde hair and had visible hair on her underarm. Shortly after entering the chamber, the female humanoid then began to force acts on Antonio. When they were finished, Antonio describes a feeling of disgust washing over him as the creature began to rub her stomach and then point upwards. Following this experience, Antonio was then given back his clothes by the other humanoids and was given a tour of the ship. While taking this tour, he had attempted to steal a small clock-like device to show as proof of his encounter with the alien race, but was quickly caught by the creatures and was immediately escorted off of the ship. As the ship left, he quickly returned home to find that more than 4 hours had passed since the ship touched down, one of the strange side effects he would soon begin experiencing. Following the encounter, Antonio began showing signs of extreme radiation sickness, unaware of what was happening, with growing lesions, weakness, and terrible headaches. He quickly sought help from a journalist researching these types of encounters and was examined by Dr. Fontes of the National School of Medicine of Brazil. Antonio had originally believed he had caught a form of disease, but was informed that he was suffering from a sickness caused by taking massive doses of radiation at one time. Such levels of radiation sickness would have been impossible to have been exposed to during this time in the 1950s, and would have required Antonio to have gotten hit by direct doses of radiation equal to the amount that would later be experienced at the Chernobyl incident in Ukraine, overwhelmingly proving advanced technologies had been within the vicinity of Antonio Villas-Boas within the span of time he had claimed the event took place. However, despite this mountain of evidence that more than supports his claims of the strange event, Antonio would still go on to be ridiculed by those around him and would face a number of health issues following the event. Antonio would later go on to become a respected lawyer, and even up to his passing, would claim that what he experienced was completely factual and not at all a hoax. A user on Reddit just posted an interesting story detailing that from the late 2000s to mid-2010, they worked as a molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program to study exobiospheric organisms. They posted the following on Reddit, but oddly enough, after only a few hours, their messages were deleted and their account was taken down. They said the following: "From the late 2000s to mid-2010, I worked as a molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program to study exobiospheric organisms. The aim of the program was to elucidate the genome and proteome basis of these organisms. Although the study of OBCs has been going on for decades in other programs, the new high-throughput DNA sequencing technologies of the late 90s unblocked stagnant research in this area. Since then, several breakthroughs have led to significant advances in our understanding of the genome and proteome of these beings. What we've learned so far has enabled us to outline some disconcerting perspectives about our place in this universe. Briefly, we've discovered that the exobiospheric organism's genome is a chimera of genomes from our biosphere and from an unknown one. They are artificial, ephemeral, and disposable organisms created for a purpose that still partially eludes us. I'll be substantiating my statements after a brief introduction. The reason for disclosing these secrets is quite simple. I believe that every human being has the right to know the truth, and that to progress, humanity needs to divest itself of certain institutions and organizations that will probably not survive these revelations in the long term. I'm aware that I'll have very little impact in this regard, but I still believe that small leaks are necessary to break the dam of misinformation on this subject. When the governments will eventually reveal these secrets, there will undoubtedly be a societal upheaval, but in my opinion, the longer we wait, the worse it will be. I choose to divulge what I know anonymously out of selfishness for the well-being of myself and my family. I'm aware that this diminishes the reach and credibility of my message, but it's the furthest I am willing to go. I chose this forum because it offers a good compromise between anonymity and popularity. In order to protect my anonymity, I will be purposely vague or even contradictory about any information that could identify me. I'll even introduce red herrings in this respect. I want to make it clear that any information related to the subject of the research will not be treated in this way. Before going any further, please excuse me if you find it difficult to understand what I'm explaining. Some parts of my text are very technical. It's difficult to find the right balance between vulgarization and scientific explanation. I'll continue by talking about myself. I simply want to introduce a perspective on the type of people who work there. I have a PhD in molecular biology. I didn't actively seek to be part of this program. Rather, it was a stroke of luck that introduced me to one of the senior scientists. I met this person at a conference where I was presenting a poster on my PhD research. When I think back, I don't believe he was impressed by what I was presenting, because it was quite frankly a project that wasn't going anywhere. I think it was rather the most important aspect of a professional life, the attitude and the ease with which you make connections. Shortly afterwards, I graduated and received a call from this person offering me a position. At the time, everything pointed to me working in a regular laboratory. I did a series of 3 increasingly suspicious interviews, each in a different location, where my scientific background and knowledge became less and less relevant. The first was with 2 of the senior scientists, the second and third with people I've never seen again, and who were obviously not interested in science. Sometime after the interview, I was asked to go to a 4th location, where what seemed like a corporate lawyer presented me with an NDA. He made sure not only to explain every detail, but also that I understood the consequence of not respecting it. The first employment weeks were by far the most memorable, although I spent most of that time in an archive room. It consists almost exclusively of reading about the subject of study and to get us up to speed. There's no secret Wikipedia or even a reference book to guide us. There are only dry reports, memos, presentations, procedures, and SOPs. These documents are almost exclusively about the biology of exobiospheric organisms, but there are also a few that deal with other subjects such as their food, religion, or culture. There were no documents on their technology. As mentioned above, the aim of the project is to gain a better understanding of the EBO genome and proteome. To achieve this, a team of around 20 scientists, 4 senior scientists and a director was involved. The scientists, like myself, had as their main responsibility to carry out the technical work. As each scientist had, to my knowledge, a PhD, we were all somewhat overqualified for what is ultimately a technician's job. The senior scientists, who make full use of their diplomas, had the task of designing the assays and had a supervisory responsibility. They were also in charge of training new employees and sometimes even came in to do technical work. The director, of course, was the person in charge who dictated priorities to the senior scientists. He was rarely on site, and the few times he was, it was to attend meetings. Other than the scientific staff, there were security guards working for one subcontractor or another. There were no support staff, such as janitors or maintenance workers. Scientists were responsible for this kind of work. In addition, logistical constraints ensure that every scientist is capable of carrying out any technical activity. The laboratory itself is located in Fort Detrick, Maryland, in a building used for legitimate biomedical research. The clandestine operations are carried out in a restricted part of the basement, out of sight from regular workers. Contrary to what one might imagine, the biosafety level is not maximal for this type of research. Indeed, the lab containing exobiospheric organism samples or derived cell cultures is biosafety level 3, while the lab where assays are conducted are only biosafety level 2. The biosafety level 3 area of the facility includes a freezer room and a cell culture lab, and is only accessible through an antechamber from the biosafety level 2 section. Exobiospheric organism carcasses are preserved in horizontal freezers at a temperature of -80 degrees. To maximize the preservation of these organisms, they are preserved in vacuum bags, and the air in the room is controlled to minimize humidity. There are only 4 entities, and none of them are complete. It's obvious that these creatures passed away as a result of major trauma. It is acknowledged that there are more exobiospheric organisms at other locations. The cell culture laboratory, as its name suggests, is where cell lines derived from exobiospheric organisms are grown and related activities are performed. I'll talk in more detail about these specific cell lines later on. The biosafety level 2 part is mainly used for assays, immunohistochemistry, genetic engineering, immunocytochemistry, and storage. There's also a cell culture lab, but this is used for more traditional cell lines. Other than the labs, there are all the amenities you could find in an office. Note that the internet access is limited to senior staff and up. There is, however, an intranet for bioinformatics needs. On the subject of the biology of these beings, I'll start by discussing genetics, then their gross anatomy, and finally, their biological systems. For the sake of clarity, the information that I provide here is an aggregation of what I have observed and what I have read. I will make many comparisons with human anatomy because it is the most logical reference. First, I'd like to discuss their genetics. Their genetics are like ours, based on DNA. This fact was very puzzling for me when I first learned about it. We imagine that beings from an alternate biosphere would have genetics based on a completely foreign biochemical system, and surprisingly, this is not the case. Several conclusions can be drawn from this surprising revelation. The one that immediately comes to mind is that our biosphere and theirs share a common ancestry. They're eukaryotes, which means their cells have nuclei containing genetic material, which suggests that their biosphere would have been separated from ours sometime after the appearance of this type of organism. The term exobiospheric organism is actually a misnomer, but as it's a historical term, it's still used. Their genetics are not only based on the same genetic system, but they're also even compatible with our own cellular machinery. This means that you can take a human gene and insert it into an exobiospheric organism cell, and that gene will be translated into protein. And this, of course, works in reverse with a human gene inserted into an exobiospheric organism cell. There are important differences in post-translational modifications that will make the final protein non-functional, but I'll discuss these later. Their genome consists of 16 circular chromosomes. You're probably familiar with the concept of intergenic region, or junk DNA. These are basically DNA sequences that don't code for proteins. These are evolutionary residues, transposons, inactivated genes, and so on. To give you an idea, in humans, intergenic regions represent approximately 99% of our genome. I'm aware that these sequences aren't completely useless. They can be used as histone anchors, as buffers to protect coding DNA from radiation, or even as alternative open reading frames, but that's rather peripheral. What's particularly striking about the exobiospheric organism's genome is the uniformity of these intergenic regions. We see the same sequences repeated everywhere, and the distance in BP between the genes is virtually the same throughout their genome. The result is a minimalist, highly condensed genome. In fact, it's much smaller than ours. Moreover, the quantity of protein-coding genes is even significantly lower than ours, probably due to genetic refinement, but also to biological processes that are absent in exobiospheric organisms. The uniformity of these sequences is a major indication of the artificiality of these beings. There is no complex organism on Earth that has such elegance in its sequences. There is no evolutionary pressure that can lead to this kind of characteristic other than genetic engineering. Speaking of genetic engineering, following sequencing of their genomes, we noticed a troubling and universal characteristic in the 5 of the regulatory sequence of each gene, which we call the tripalindromic region. The tripalindromic region are 134 sequences containing, as its name suggests, 3 palindromes. In genetics, a palindrome is a DNA sequence that, when read in the same direction, gives the same sequence on both DNA strands. They serve both as a flag and as a binding site for proteins. The 3 palindromes in the tripalindromic region are distinct from one another and have been poetically named 5 tripalindromic region, M tripalindromic region, and 3 tripalindromic region. The chromosomal address is composed of 4 BP and is identical in each tripalindromic region of the same chromosome, but distinct between each of the 16 chromosomes of the genome. The gene address is a 64 BP sequence that is unique for each gene in the whole genome. It's therefore understandable that the tripalindromic region serves as a unique address, not only for numerically identifying a gene, but also for identifying its chromosomal location. For those with only a basic knowledge of genetics, this is completely unheard of. No living thing in our biosphere has this kind of precise address in its genome. Once again, the presence of tripalindromic region cannot be explained by evolutionary pressure, but only by genetic engineering on a genomic scale. Tripalindromic region opens the door to several possibilities. One of them suggests that exobiospheric organism geneticists can insert or remove a gene from a cell in a way that is far more targeted and efficient than our technology allows. No proteins have been identified in the exobiospheric organism genome that interacts with the tripalindromic region. Rather, we believe that these proteins are exclusively targeted by external genetic engineering tools, probably used at the zygotic stage of embryonic development. The nature of these tools is unclear, but we definitely don't have anything like them. The probable absence of these proteins from the genome is a further indication of their artificiality. Given the high probability of artificiality of their genome and the apparent ease of modifying it with biomolecular tools, it's not out of the question that there could be polymorphism between individuals depending on their role and function. In other words, an individual could be genetically designed to have characteristics that give it an advantage in performing a given task, like soldier ants and worker ants in an anthill. Note that these previous statements are speculation. To my knowledge, only one individual genome has been sequenced. I can't make a definitive statement on genetic variation between individuals. I've talked a lot about intergenic regions. Now I'll briefly discuss intragenic sequences. Briefly, because there's not a lot less to say despite its obvious importance. Much like ours, their genes have silencers, enhancers, promoters, 5 UTRs, exons, introns, and 3 UTRs. There are many genes analogous to ours, which is not surprising given the compatibility of our cellular machinery. What's disturbing is that some genes correspond directly, nucleotide by nucleotide, with known human genes or even some animal genes. For these genes, there doesn't seem to be any artificial refinement, but rather a crude copying and pasting. Why they do it is nebulous and still subject to conjecture. There are also many genes which are not found in our biosphere, whose role has not been identified. Finding the purpose of these novel genes is one of the aims of the program. I'd like to note before going any further that this heterogeneity of genes of known and unknown origin is an undeniable proof of the artificiality of exobiospheric organisms. To conclude with genetics, the mitochondrial genome at the time I was working there had not yet been sequenced. It's safe to assume that this genome would also be streamlined and possibly has some version of tripalindromic region. Transcription and translation and protein expression. I briefly introduced the differences in post-translational modifications between human and exobiospheric organism. This is hardly a surprise, as we often see the same thing between different terrestrial species. Obtaining a viable protein from a DNA sequence is a complex process involving hundreds of protein intermediates, each with a precise and essential role. A minor variation in this assembly line can lead to functional irregularities in the final product. So, it's no surprise that there are setbacks along the way when the first exobiospheric organism gene transfection attempts failed to produce the desired functional protein in human cell lines. Fortunately for us, the work of what I imagine to be another team at another site has led to the development of an exobiospheric organism cell line named EPIG-11, derived from epithelial tissues. With this tool in our hands, we were able to transfect and overexpress proteins of interest in order to eventually purify and study them. For your information, we use a biological ballistics delivery system for our transfection needs because other methods are not very effective with cells of this line. For example, the viral vectors tested cannot be internalized by EPIG-11 and lipofection is too lethal. EPIG-11, like most eukaryotic cell lines, enters a phase of exponential growth when exposed to fetal bovine serum. It's only half surprising that a cell line from such an exotic source should be sensitive to the growth factors present in FBS. In my opinion, this can be explained by the addition of animal genes to the genome, such as growth receptors. Gross anatomy. They are morphologically very similar to the grey aliens that are part of modern folklore. Their height is about 150 centimeters. They have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. Still, there are some notable differences. The grey skin that is often described in folklore is in fact a biosynthetic film which, likely, serves to protect the exobiospheric organism from a hostile environment. It doesn't provide effective protection against temperature changes, but it does offer adequate protection against the passage of liquids. It's possible that this film confers other advantages, but my knowledge on the subject is limited. Under the grey film, the epidermis is rather white, and the texture is very regular and without any hair. We do not see any defect other than the folds near the joints. It's described as greasy in one report, but that's not something I've observed. The same report states that a strong, lingering smell of burnt hair and ammonia is present when the film is removed. There are a lot of pores on the skin, crossing from the epidermis to a gland in the hypodermis. These glands and pores are the terminal part of the excretory sudoriferous system, which could explain the previously mentioned smell. The head contains 2 large, oversized eyes, 2 nostrils without protuberance, a narrow mouth without lips, and 2 ear canals without auricles. There is a mandible, but the musculature is vestigial. There are no teeth or tongue in the oral cavity. The nasal cavity where the nostrils meet is compact and does not rise cranially, but extends axially. There appears to be no equivalent to the olfactory bulb in the nasal cavity. The mouth leads directly to the esophagus and the nasal cavity to the trachea. The trachea and esophagus do not communicate. Like the skin, the eyes are covered with a semi-transparent biosynthetic film that offers the same environmental protection while providing protection against certain wavelengths and light intensity. When the film is removed, a more traditional eye is revealed. It's about 3 times larger than a human eye, and there are no eyelids. The size of their eyes suggests they have excellent night vision. It seems paradoxical to cover them with a semi-opaque film. Perhaps they only need to wear it in a bright environment. Their sclera is the same color as their skin, the iris is pale grey, and the pupil is black and oversized. The lens is rounder than a human, and the musculature used to adjust focus is more developed. On the retina, there are at least 6 types of cone cells. The responsiveness of each of these 6 types of cone is specific to a wavelength band, with a minimum of overlap between each other. The result is a broader visible spectrum. As mentioned, the outer ear has no auricle and the ear canal is unremarkable. The inner ear has all the characteristics of a typical vestibular and cochlear system. Although the curvature of the cochlea is more pronounced than a human, this probably results in greater hearing acuity for low frequencies. The brain is tetraspheric and is composed of 4 major sections. The sections are separated by transverse and longitudinal fissures and are connected to the central lobe, which acts as brainstem and cerebellum. The volume of the brain is around 20% superior to that of a man of the same height. It has a much more pronounced level of gyrification than an average human. Moreover, the ratio of glial cells to neurons is also slightly higher than in humans. It is important to mention the presence of nodules on the central lobe. Histological analysis of these structures reveals a kind of intricate biological circuitry. It is speculated that these nodules are essential to interact with their technology. Consequently, determining the proteome of these structures is an absolute priority for the program. The neck is proportionally longer than that of a human, and at the same time relatively thin. As mentioned, the esophagus and trachea are separate. There are no vocal cords in this region. The musculature of the thorax is underdeveloped. Muscles equivalent to the pectoralis major can be seen. We can also see the trapezius and deltoid muscles. The sternocleidomastoids are well defined. The ribs and sternum are clearly visible. The abdomen is wider than the thorax and bulges slightly forward. There is no navel. Their hands have 4 digits, including an opposable thumb on the medial side. They have no nails, and the texture of their fingerprints is composed of concentric circles. Fingers are proportionally much longer than in humans. Unlike humans, finger musculature is entirely intrinsic to the hand. In other words, the muscles used to move the fingers are not in the forearms, but entirely located in the hands. At first glance, the feet consist of just 2 digits, but a necropsy soon determined that each toe was made of 2 fused digits. The medial toe is marginally longer than the distal toe. The feet are relatively longer and narrower than in a human. Their musculature, however, is vestigial. The exobiospheric organism's endoskeleton is very similar to ours, at least in terms of composition. There's collagen, hydroxyapatite, but also copper oxide crystals where marrow would normally be found. The blood cells of the myeloid lineage therefore mature in a different location than in humans. A transverse section of the bone reveals osteon and osteocytes. There appear to be few osteoblasts and no osteoclasts. This indicates that the bones are no longer growing and cannot absorb the minerals present or adapt mechanically to changes in posture. Their cellular respiration is equivalent to ours. They need to oxidize organic components to produce energy. Their lungs have no reciprocating action, but rather have a unidirectional flow of air, similar to those seen in birds, which is more efficient than ours. It is speculated that this is in response to the brain's elevated metabolic needs. Vocalization is produced by vibration of the wall membrane at the junction between the two air sacs. The circulatory system of exobiospheric organisms is rather analogous to ours. The heart is located in the mediastinum, but in a more medial position, directly beneath the sternum. The heart has 2 ventricles and 2 atria. There is an aorta, a pulmonary vein, a pulmonary artery, and a vena cava. Blood flowing to the pulmonary capillaries via the pulmonary artery is pumped against the flow of air, maximizing gas exchange efficiency. The blood-gas barrier is relatively narrow in these capillaries, at least compared to a human. Then, oxygen-rich blood is returned to the heart and then expelled into the aorta and the rest of the body. Before returning to the heart, the blood will pass through the hepatorenal organ, which, among other things, filters and controls osmotic pressure of the blood. The blood itself is also analogous to that of a human. However, the proportion of plasma is much higher. Albumin is in similar proportion, hormone levels are much lower, metal ion levels are much higher, and glucose levels are significantly higher. The color of the blood is brownish, given the higher proportion of plasma and concentration of metal ions. On the cellular side, there are erythrocytes which, in addition to hemoglobin for binding oxygen, display several complexes capable of binding copper ions. It's not clear what role these copper ions play, but we believe it neutralizes blood ammonia, among other things. Several cell types with leukocyte characteristics have been observed, but no comprehensive knowledge of them exists. The pyramids situated in Egypt have always been subject to numerous speculations and theories. These ancient marvels stand as truly remarkable structures that have captivated our fascination for centuries. From the time they were first discovered, there has been a continuous scientific and scholarly endeavor to unravel the mysteries surrounding their construction. Researchers and scientists have tirelessly sought to gain a profound understanding of how these magnificent pyramids were meticulously built by the ancient Egyptians, despite the remarkable challenges they faced. The sheer scale and complexity of these structures, coupled with the limited technology available during that era, has fueled the curiosity of scholars worldwide. In recent times, there has been a release of KGB files containing intriguing information regarding a divine entity's visit to the ancient Egyptians. For those unfamiliar, the KGB was the primary security agency of the Soviet Union from March 1954 to December 1991. Delving deeper into this matter, Dr. Viktor Ivanovich, who served as the science advisor for an advanced propulsion system, has made startling revelations about a clandestine undertaking known as Project ISIS. According to Dr. Ivanovich, the KGB had individuals working undercover within the Egyptian government, and during phone conversations concerning the illustrious pyramids, these discussions were secretly recorded for surveillance purposes. These recently unveiled KGB files shed light on a captivating episode in history, suggesting an extraordinary connection between a higher power and the ancient Egyptians. Dr. Viktor Ivanovich, revered for his expertise in advanced propulsion systems, disclosed remarkable insights into the covert mission. Operating undercover within the Egyptian government, KGB agents skillfully intercepted phone conversations discussing the majestic pyramids, meticulously recording these dialogues to clandestinely gather valuable intelligence. This revelation, drawn from the released KGB records, provides a captivating insight into what they found. In the year 1960, a significant revelation was made by Dr. Ivanovich which involved Sami Sharif, the Egyptian Minister of Presidential Affairs. Dr. Ivanovich disclosed an unexpected conversation that had been secretly recorded by Sharif. During the airing of the television series Secret KGB Files on Amazon Prime, an intriguing Egyptian tape recording was prominently featured. This captivating recording, which dates back to the 24th of July 1960, was unveiled to the audience, shedding light on an important piece of history. Dr. Ivanovich discussed an intriguing discovery, stating that a high-ranking official received a phone call from his brother recounting an astonishing encounter. It appears that two archaeologists had fortuitously come across a concealed tomb and, as a consequence, experienced a state of delirium for a few days before seeking medical attention at the hospital. Upon arrival, they repetitively uttered three significant words: "Tomb of Visitor." This cryptic phrase alludes to the burial site of an ancient Egyptian deity who holds no position within the established Egyptian pantheon. Interestingly, this deity possesses a distinct symbol, denoting their status as a god who pays visits. Dr. Ivanovich's remarks shed light on this remarkable discovery, offering a comprehensive and detailed account for those eager to delve into the depths of this enigmatic tomb. In his elaborate explanation, Dr. Ivanovich delves into a time far preceding the ancient Egyptians and their renowned pharaohs. According to his extensive knowledge as an astrophysicist and neurologist, he reveals the existence of divine entities who descended from the celestial realm along with their cohorts, imparting their unparalleled wisdom and knowledge to the inhabitants of Earth before ultimately departing. Furthermore, Dr. Ivanovich discloses a startling revelation that one of these divine beings actually met their demise on our planet. To honor and preserve the memory of this godlike entity, an undisclosed tomb of utmost secrecy was discreetly constructed within the Grand Pyramid. Astoundingly, high-ranking Egyptian officials recently disclosed this astounding fact during a confidential phone conversation. Since that time, numerous researchers have made attempts to locate the whereabouts of the concealed burial chamber. According to reports, Egyptian authorities, along with officials from other nations, have successfully extracted the entity from the pyramid and safeguarded it in a highly secure site. As a result of these developments, a multitude of individuals have begun to conjecture that the remarkable construction of these awe-inspiring structures was aided by external assistance during the reign of the ancient Egyptians. When examining the structural aspects of the Great Pyramids of Giza, purely from a mathematical perspective, it becomes apparent that they consist of approximately 2.3 million stone blocks. These blocks vary in weight, with each ranging between 2.5 and 15 tons. According to ancient Egyptian documents found in nearby tombs and areas related to the pyramids, the pharaoh documented that a mere 20,000 workers were responsible for constructing the pyramids over a 20-year period. If we consider these Egyptian records to be accurate, it would mean that each worker had to cut a block with impeccable precision from a quarry and transport it to the pyramid independently. However, this task alone would be an immense challenge for a single individual. Furthermore, each block would need to be hoisted and placed in its designated position on the pyramid without any assistance, all within a 30-day time frame. In order to achieve this feat, each worker would have had to place a block approximately every 2.5 minutes, with all 20,000 workers synchronizing their efforts flawlessly throughout the entire month. This remarkable demand for absolute precision and non-stop labor raises intriguing questions about the feasibility and logistics of such a massive construction project. It prompts us to question the methods, techniques, and resources that might have been employed by these ancient workers to accomplish this monumental task. Furthermore, it also sparks curiosity about the organizational and managerial skills required to orchestrate the synchronized efforts of such a large workforce, operating ceaselessly for 2 decades. However, it is essential to approach these records with a critical mindset, recognizing the potential limitations of ancient documentation and the possibility of discrepancies or inaccuracies over time. Acknowledging the incredible physical and logistical challenges faced by the builders of the pyramids invites further exploration into the engineering prowess, societal dynamics, and cultural context of ancient Egypt. In 2017, a group of scientists conducting extensive research on the pyramid made an intriguing announcement. They revealed the existence of a hitherto unknown cavity within the pyramid, estimated to span an impressive length of approximately 30 meters. The detection of this newfound void was made possible through the implementation of an innovative scientific technique known as muon radiography, which utilizes cosmic rays to meticulously examine and identify empty spaces or chambers concealed within architectural structures. The recent discovery has sparked considerable interest within the scientific community, and comparisons have already been made to the renowned Grand Gallery located within the same pyramid. The Grand Gallery, a remarkable corridor extending a staggering 150 feet in length, serves as a direct passageway leading to the burial chamber of the revered pharaoh Khufu. The identification of this newly unveiled void within the pyramid has been heralded as a significant milestone, ranking alongside the prestigious status accorded to the Grand Gallery. In addition to its height of approximately 26 feet, this corridor is situated beneath the recently unearthed section. However, the contents and purpose of this area remain shrouded in mystery. It could possibly comprise multiple smaller chambers or a singular expansive space, yet this knowledge has eluded us thus far. This enigma begs us to ponder its significance and speculate about its potential functions. Further exploration and investigation are required to unravel the secrets concealed within this intriguing corridor. This remarkable finding represents a significant breakthrough that brings us closer to unraveling the enigmatic complexities of this awe-inspiring structure. The discovery was made through the collaborative efforts of the Scan Pyramids project in conjunction with the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities. It is widely acclaimed as an extraordinary feat in the realm of archaeological techniques, specifically muon tomography, utilized to detect and uncover this monumental marvel. Furthermore, this groundbreaking revelation holds vast potential for enhancing our understanding and knowledge of the structure's intricate details. It offers a compelling opportunity to delve into the depths of its mysteries, exploring its hidden secrets and shedding light on its historical significance. While many believe that the capstone of the pyramid was crafted from gold and removed in ancient times, the idea of someone removing a solid gold capstone seems implausible to some. However, a fascinating theory put forth by Spanish researcher Miguel Pérez Sánchez suggests that the Great Pyramid was not left unfinished, but instead featured a colossal sphere installed on its surface. According to Pérez Sánchez, this sphere, with a diameter of 2,718 royal cubits or 2.7 meters, symbolized the renowned Eye of Horus and served as a tribute to the sun and Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. Moreover, meticulous analysis of the pyramid has unveiled more intriguing details. Researchers have been able to determine the inclination angle of 51.84 degrees, the presence of a platform supporting the sphere with a perimeter of royal cubits in a perfect representation of Pi, and the height of the pyramidal vertex, which measures 277,778 cubits. Pérez Sánchez emphasizes that the exploration of the Great Pyramid's original form and dimensions, as well as its reconstruction and subsequent analysis, have revealed an architectural masterpiece rooted in pure mathematics, geometry, and astronomy. It is evident that the Great Pyramid of Giza, once adorned with its magnificent white blocks and crowned with a captivating sphere, stands not only as a testament to ancient engineering prowess, but also as a testament to the ancient Egyptians' profound understanding of the interconnectedness of mathematics, geometry, and celestial bodies. The Mystery Woman. In August 1954, the top of Mount Palomar in the United States hosted a remarkable convention that featured details on mysterious flying aircrafts, detailing eyewitness encounters and sharing knowledge about sightings that no one knew about. The event took place at an altitude of over 1,800 meters, and different members in the community gathered to exchange ideas and share experiences about these strange phenomena. The convention was highly memorable, and it attracted participants from different parts of the country who were keen to learn and engage in discussions surrounding the convention. Was attended by over 1,000 individuals from various walks of life, including journalists from all over the globe, FBI agents, witnesses, and even individuals who were merely curious. All of the people who were contacted shared their distinct experiences. At the conclusion of the initial day's proceedings, There was a commotion among the attendees as they observed the unanticipated presence of an attractive woman accompanied by a duo of men. One of the men had glasses, and all three individuals were of fair complexion. The woman distinguished herself with her blonde hair and strikingly black and intense eyes. Further standout features included unusual cranial formation and an unusual bone mark on her forehead. During the convention, a journalist from Brazil was in attendance and conducted an interview with a group of individuals who signed the guest book. According to the journalist's research, the woman in the group was named Dolores Barrios, and she identified herself as being a fashion designer from New York. During the meeting the next day, Martins managed to take a photograph of the woman, which surprised her and led to her immediately leaving the area with her two friends. Oddly enough, moments after the three individuals left and ran for the nearby forest, those in attendance reported that a mysterious aircraft was seen taking off and leaving the area at incredible speeds. However, due to the speed in which the aircraft was traveling, the witnesses in attendance reported that they were unable to capture any photographic evidence of the event. Despite thorough investigation, no individuals have come forward to claim knowledge or identification of the unusual individuals depicted in the photographs. As of today, it remains a mystery who they are, what their purpose was, and why they left the event in a hurry. 2008 marked a momentous occasion in the history of UFO sightings. Over a small Turkish village, a series of extraordinary events unfolded that would captivate the world's attention. The UFO sighting began when dozens of residents in the small village observed a series of strange lights and an object hovering in the night sky. Witnesses described the object as disc-shaped, with bright lights that seemed to pulse and change colors. The UFO hovered silently for hours, defying the laws of physics and leaving the villagers in a state of awe and disbelief. Turkey has a long and rich history of unexplained aerial phenomena dating back centuries, but between 2007 and 2009 in the northwest region of the country, a series of unusual events took place. Multiple strange objects were observed over the sea and witnessed by local residents. During that time, an important video was taken of something unidentified, hovering in the sky at the same location. Numerous residents from the local area have recounted their encounters with unidentified flying objects that displayed disc and oval shapes in the sky. These aerial objects had a distinct metallic appearance and demonstrated silent maneuvers, occasionally accompanied by peculiar red and orange lights. The witnesses comprised a mix of individuals residing in the nearby housing complex and intrigued onlookers, including fishermen. Fascinatingly, in 2009, following a UFO conference held close to Istanbul, Roger Lehr and a group of 7 to 8 people personally experienced a sighting. Under the luminous glow of a bright moon, they witnessed a mysterious disc-shaped object lingering in the heavens. Notably, Roger Lehr himself observed Yeltsin capturing video footage of this anomalous object in the sky. Prior to his demise, he was interviewed multiple times regarding this remarkable event, further establishing the credibility and significance of the incident. Reports were filed with the Sirius UFO and Space Science Research Group, which is Turkey's primary UFO reporting organization, run by Haktan Akdogan. Also, the videos were analyzed by the Scientific and Technology Research Board of Turkey and TUG National Observatory, which are both sponsored by the state and highly influential. They reviewed the originals with the goal of finding evidence of a forgery, but interestingly came away with results that actually supported the authenticity instead. The original film cassettes have also been studied by people from the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, Chile, and Brazil. After several attempts so far, nobody has been able to successfully demonstrate evidence of a hoax, fraud, or manipulation, leaving the case as an unsolved mystery. The previous year, between May 22nd and September 28th, a series of unusual aerial phenomena were witnessed and documented in the vicinity of Yeni Kent facility on the shore of Kumburgaz. Yeltsin, who was working the night shift at the facility, had a privileged vantage point, which allowed him to witness these sightings. As word spread, the local residents became increasingly intrigued, resulting in a growing number of people taking notice. The 2008 sightings, reminiscent of those in 2007, received significant attention in the Turkish national media, including news networks from the United States. This, in turn, sparked the interest of the Turkish scientific and astronomy community, who took the initiative to thoroughly analyze the captured footage. The following day, a mesmerizing sphere of glowing orange and red plasma-like light hovers effortlessly in the sky, appearing motionless for an extended period of time. Its radiant brilliance casts a vibrant reflection upon the calm surface of the water, creating a breathtaking visual spectacle that captivates the onlookers. Just 4 days after the initial sighting, another distinct orange glowing object is witnessed. Shortly thereafter, a peculiar craft, depicted in the image provided below, is captured on film. Interestingly, there seems to be a potential horizontal movement that results in a noticeable shift of light and shadow across the entirety of the structure. This observation raises intriguing questions regarding the nature and behavior of these unidentified aerial phenomena. Upon reviewing the unedited video footage, it is evident that there is a distinctive elongated anomaly that remains stationary just above the surface of the water. Yalcin, the person responsible for capturing the footage, skillfully utilized the zoom function on the camera, allowing for multiple close-ups and wide shots. As of right now, one theory that's been put forward is that this object is part of a cruise ship. However, when looking into the object location within the sky, along with ships' logs and records, it shows that nothing was in that area during the time of these sightings. In the following analysis, a thorough examination has been conducted, revealing multiple factors that cast doubt on the validity of the cruise ship theory. The moon as a reference point is often used by astronomers to estimate the angular elevation of objects in the night sky, such as airplanes, helicopters, and celestial objects. The standard rule is, the angular diameter of the moon is about 0.5 degrees, or 2 moon widths would be 1 degree. During the 17th of May, the segment of the moon and the unknown object are filmed in the same frame for several minutes. This can be used to see how far the object was above the horizon. It could theoretically decide if it was too high in altitude, or, if the object was on the horizon, it could support the cruise ship theory. When filming both the moon and an object in conjunction, this particular scenario provides a valuable opportunity to estimate the angular elevation of the object above the horizon. The Turkey UFO Case website used Stellarium, a highly popular planetarium software among astronomers, and this allows users to observe celestial alignments of stars and planets from any location on Earth, either in the present or the past. In this specific case, they inputted the precise coordinates of the camera's position on May 17, 2009. Analysis of the footage reveals that at 6 minutes past 3, the moon appeared approximately 12.3 degrees above the horizon when observed from the camera's location. This information, captured in detail, provides a comprehensive understanding of the specific celestial positioning during that precise moment in time and space. According to a widely accepted astronomy principle, it is established that when the diameter of 2 moons is combined, it measures up to 1 degree. This fundamental rule serves as a valuable tool for measuring celestial objects and phenomena. Examining the given scenario below, it becomes evident that the unidentified object captured in the video was positioned approximately 7.9 degrees above the horizon. This information not only highlights the significance of the astronomy rule, but also underscores its practical application in analyzing celestial observations. According to Alcyoni's assertion, if a ship is situated far beyond the Earth's curvature, it would give the illusion of being significantly lower on the horizon compared to its actual position. Once the measurements have been established, we can now proceed to visualize the appearance of the unidentified object at that specific moment. It is important to note that based on the data, the object's position relative to the horizon suggests that it is highly unlikely to be a cruise ship or yacht. According to Alcyoni's claims, the object in question was the bridge of a cruise ship, but it is highly unlikely due to its proximity to the shore and shallow waters. The measurements suggest that the unidentified object was positioned too high above the surface, contradicting Alcyoni's theory. This discrepancy challenges the validity of Alcyoni's claim and raises doubts about the accuracy of their assessment. Examining the scenario more deeply, it becomes evident that the object's height could not be attributed to a cruise ship's bridge, as it would be too high in the sky. The designated marina utilized for accommodating cruise ships that visit is known as the Port of Karakoy. However, it is worth noting that this marina is situated in the Bosphorus Strait, which unfortunately cannot be visually observed from the specific location of the observer. The automatic identification system is a globally employed automated tracking system utilized by vessel traffic services to electronically exchange ship data, with the purpose of identifying and locating ships. This system operates through automatic identification system transponders, which are equipped with a VHF radio that transmits the position of ships periodically. The ship's GPS provides accurate information regarding the ship's location and velocity. With its comprehensive coverage and in-depth analysis, the automatic identification system plays a crucial role in enriching maritime operations by enhancing the understanding of vessel movements and facilitating effective traffic management. The following is a comprehensive and in-depth compilation of automatic identification system vessel traffic reports for the Sea of Marmara on May 13th and May 15th, 2009. These reports provide detailed information about each vessel, including its call sign, date and time of observation, latitude and longitude coordinates, as well as the wind speed at the time of observation. In the event that a cruise ship or yacht happened to be present at the specified sighting location, it is imperative that it be included in the list. In the Bosphorus Strait, a number of vessels could be observed, with a few situated in the Black Sea while others positioned outside the camera's range to the west or east. It is important to note that no evidence suggests the presence of a cruise ship or yacht within the camera's coverage at that particular moment. This comprehensive and in-depth analysis enriches our understanding of the maritime activity in the area and highlights the absence of certain types of vessels in the vicinity captured by the camera. Upon careful examination, it has been determined that at precisely 3:59 in the morning on the 13th of May, 2009, no conclusive evidence exists to substantiate the presence of either a cruise ship or a yacht within the visual range of the camera. In addition, it should be noted that during the time the footage was captured, there were no other vessels, such as tankers, fishing boats, or bulk carriers, within sight or in the immediate vicinity. In the country of Turkey, there have been no reports or accounts from residents who claim to have witnessed the presence of a cruise ship or yacht in the area. Considering the extensive media coverage surrounding this issue in Turkey, it is surprising that no one has stepped forward to confirm the existence of a cruise ship in the area. According to Turkish researchers and Yalçın Yalman's statements, it has been determined that the videos captured on July 30th, 2007, August 31st, 2008, and May 14th, 2009 were not recorded near the sea, but rather on land. This finding holds value as it sheds light on the location where these intriguing sightings took place. Interestingly, on the 14th of May 2009, this peculiar event occurred in front of a sizable gathering of individuals attending a conference situated miles away from any oceanic vicinity. By carefully examining these videos captured over land, we are presented with compelling evidence that challenges the notion of a cruise ship being involved in these occurrences. This means that the conventional assumption of these sightings being connected to maritime activities can be discounted. The original footage captured a remarkable phenomenon, a luminous ball of light that gradually transformed into a dome-shaped craft. The recording took place in a condominium owned by Yalçın's father, situated several blocks away from the waterfront. It is worth noting that the condominium is situated at a significant distance from the sea, adding to the intrigue and mystery surrounding the sighting. Upon careful examination, the luminous ball of light exhibited a mesmerizing transformation. Throughout the course of history, there have been numerous instances where orange luminous spheres have been frequently observed in conjunction with unidentified flying objects. Despite ongoing investigations, the exact reasons behind their presence continue to elude us. In the case of Yalçın's film, which has garnered attention, it is intriguing to note that it comprises multiple sequences showcasing these captivating light orbs. Notably, these luminous phenomena appear either during, just before, or immediately after the sightings of other unidentified objects, thus bolstering the curiosity surrounding their existence. Furthermore, Eyewitness testimonies recounting the presence of these enigmatic orange balls strongly support their reality. Considering various straightforward aspects, it becomes highly improbable for these peculiar orange light balls to be attributed to the presence of a cruise ship. The factors contributing to this improbability are multifaceted and undeniable. During the period of heightened UFO sightings in 2008, specifically on June 9th, Yeltsin and several other individuals had the remarkable opportunity to witness an extraordinary occurrence. The occurrence of the orange light phenomenon typically occurred at the same specific location, either during, shortly before, or right after the presence or movement of other objects. This observation suggests a notable correlation between the orange light occurrence and the neighboring objects. During the extraordinary wave that occurred in 2008, local residents reported regular sightings of unidentified objects. One particularly notable incident took place on July 4, 2008, when an unexplained light was captured on film from 5:20 in the morning to 5:53. It is important to consider various visual factors that strongly indicate a cruise ship or yacht is highly unlikely to be the cause of this phenomenon. Firstly, the unexplained light appeared to be positioned significantly above the horizon, making it implausible for it to be originating from a boat. In the early hours of the same day, specifically at 2:43 in the morning, an intriguing phenomenon occurred above the vast expanse of the sea. This peculiar event involved the appearance of a circular or disc-shaped object, captivating the attention of those who were fortunate enough to witness it. During the events of July 4, 2008, an interesting observation was made as both sequences were recorded in the exact same location. This intriguing coincidence raises the possibility that the object being filmed in both instances could potentially be one and the same. In recent interviews, Yeltsin Yalman has expressed that the segment of July 30, 2007 was captured from the open-air balcony of his father's condominium, which is located a few blocks away from the Yeni Kent facility situated on the beautiful beaches of Kumburgaz. On that occasion, Yalman initially observed a peculiar anomaly in the form of a dome appearing in the far distance. Initially, the videos underwent a meticulous examination, supervised by Haktan Akdogan, a distinguished Turkish researcher and the director of the Sirius UFO and Space Science Research Center. Haktan diligently interviewed each witness independently and subsequently proceeded with a thorough analysis of the videos. Collaborating with the esteemed members of their science board, they employed advanced techniques to magnify the images, meticulously scrutinized every pixel, and meticulously examined each frame in intricate detail. This comprehensive endeavor aimed to ensure a comprehensive understanding and in-depth analysis of the videos, enriching the overall investigation. Haktan Akdogan said the following: "After doing all the necessary analysis, which went on for several weeks, the board came to a definite conclusion with no doubt that these are 100% genuine videos. The objects cited in the aforementioned footage that have a structure that is made of specific material are definitely not made up by any kind of computer animation, nor are they any form of special effects used for simulation in a studio or for a video effect. Therefore, in conclusion, it was decided that the sightings were neither a mock-up or hoax. And it is concluded that these objects in the sightings that have physical and material structures do not belong in any category such as planes, helicopters, meteors, Venus, Mars, satellites, fireballs, Chinese lantern, fireballs, weather balloons, natural or atmospheric phenomenon, and but rather fall into the category of UFOs." End quote. Given that the most remarkable aspects of the case revolve around the alleged presence of extraterrestrial beings in the recorded footage, the focus of observation primarily centered on the central area of the unidentified object. According to the witness, this is where he claimed to have seen someone, which has been interpreted as the presence of occupants or a crew. In a summary, the information gathered from the case suggests that a door or window of some sort could be located in the center of the object. At times, this opening appears to remain unclosed, providing a glimpse of two distinct heads, which are assumed to belong to the elusive extraterrestrial occupants. In a more comprehensive analysis, it is worth noting that these findings emphasize the significance of the central region of the unidentified object. It is believed that this area serves as a point of entry or exit, allowing for potential observations or interactions with the occupants. The uncovered details from this case shed light on the intriguing nature of the encounter, expanding our understanding of the phenomenon. The sequence depicts with commendable clarity the specific moment in which one of the figures, exhibiting what appears to be humanoid characteristics, lifts its gaze and fixates its gaze directly ahead for a fleeting interval of time. The visual presentation reveals the presence of a distinct head structure with two relatively large and dark eyes. Furthermore, upon closer examination, it is conceivable to discern a fragment of the figure's body, perhaps a small torso, in relation to the aforementioned head. In this particular image, the application of only one level filter was employed to enhance the brightness of the scene. By utilizing this technique, the objective was to maximize the extraction of data that could potentially be captured by the camera, all the while preserving the overall quality of the image. As of right now, the Turkey UFO incident is still heavily debated. Ship records show that no cruise ship was in the area during these sightings, and after zooming in on the footage, there's many that believe they can see humanoid entities within the aircraft. To this day, the Turkey incident remains a mystery. The International Space Station orbits the Earth, serving as a beacon of scientific exploration and international collaboration. However, alongside its remarkable achievements, the International Space Station has also become the focal point of intriguing reports and recordings of unidentified objects. Recently, some interesting photographs have been shared around social media, showing what appears to be two medium-sized black cubes flying past one of the International Space Station's cameras. As the live feed camera transmitted images of the Earth and surrounding space, a user online noticed two small, dark objects in the distance. They said that its shape and movements deviated from the expected patterns of space debris or known satellites. Intrigued, they started to take some screenshots in the hopes of better understanding what it was that they witnessed. They said that the objects were in the shape of a cube, saying that it maneuvered gracefully through the vast emptiness of space. The user said that it flew past the camera within a matter of seconds and displayed agility and speed beyond the capabilities of any known human-made spacecraft. With the mysterious object captivating their attention, they knew that they were witnessing something strange, and so quickly grabbed some screenshots. They said that the object's flight patterns and advanced maneuvers challenged conventional understanding, raising questions about its technological capabilities and potential nature. After sharing the photographs online, some suggested that the small black objects were advanced reconnaissance probes from an advanced civilization observing humanity's activities from afar. Others theorized that it could be a result of a top-secret military experiment, pushing the boundaries of aerospace technology. Regardless of the explanations, the sighting opened up a world of possibilities and triggered discussions about the existence of intelligent life beyond Earth. However, despite numerous attempts at trying to explain what these objects were, they remained a mystery. Interestingly, those who saw the photographs said that this isn't the first time that these objects have been captured on the International Space Station's live cameras, and said that over the years, a variety of strange objects have been captured. Although NASA and other space agencies have said that these objects are nothing of interest and can normally be explained as things like space debris and camera glitches, this hasn't stopped users from investigating further, noting that every so often these objects can be seen during the live streams. Whether these two small black objects were an otherworldly visitor, a product of advanced human technology, or something else entirely, its presence has left many unanswered questions, and as humanity continues its voyage of discovery, the enigmatic encounter serves as a constant reminder that the universe is full of surprises, waiting to be discovered. As mentioned, numerous recordings from the International Space Station have captured objects appearing in the frame, exhibiting unconventional flight patterns and unexplained characteristics. Eyewitness accounts and footage reveal sightings of spherical, cylindrical or disc-shaped objects maneuvering near the space station. These objects often exhibit high speeds, abrupt changes in direction, and anomalous behavior that cannot be easily explained by known space debris or natural phenomena. Several explanations have been proposed, to account for the mysterious objects caught near the International Space Station. One possibility is the presence of space debris or satellites, which can occasionally pass by the station. However, the distinct flight patterns and behaviors observed in some cases defy the characteristics of typical space debris or known satellite movements. Another explanation involves misidentifications or lens flares caused by light reflections or internal optics within the cameras. Such optical phenomena can create the illusion of objects or anomalies in the recorded footage. However, the consistency of witness reports and the corroboration between different camera angles challenge the notion that all sightings are mere artifacts. The sightings of these mysterious objects have fueled speculation about potential advanced civilizations. Proponents of this hypothesis argue that the peculiar flight patterns and advanced technology displayed by these objects suggest the presence of intelligent life monitoring our planet or interacting with the space station. While this hypothesis is intriguing, it remains speculative, as definitive proof of advanced activity is yet to be established. The complex nature of this phenomenon requires rigorous scientific investigation and analysis of available evidence to ascertain the true nature of these sightings. The realm of outer space has always been shrouded in mystery, and astronauts, as intrepid explorers, are no strangers to encounters with the unknown. Several astronauts have come forward with accounts of mysterious aircrafts. Those who believe in this phenomenon have said that if you are going to believe anyone, then you should believe those who've actually been to space. Perhaps the most notable is the testimony of Buzz Aldrin, the second person to walk on the moon. Aldrin has stated that he and his fellow Apollo 11 crew members observed a mysterious object during their journey to the moon, describing it as a cylindrical object moving alongside their spacecraft. Similarly, Edgar Mitchell, the sixth person to walk on the moon as part of the Apollo 14 mission, spoke openly about his belief in advanced life and his conviction that mysterious objects have visited Earth. Mitchell claimed that multiple astronauts have witnessed these objects, but the information has been withheld from the public. In addition to these renowned astronauts, other space explorers, including Gordon Cooper and Story Musgrave, have shared their own encounters with unidentified objects during their missions. Their descriptions often include sightings of bright lights, strange formations, or objects exhibiting rapid acceleration and maneuverability. The testimonies of astronauts hold considerable weight due to their extensive training, scientific backgrounds, and credibility within the space exploration community. These individuals are trained observers who have undergone rigorous astronaut selection processes and have extensive knowledge of spacecraft and celestial phenomena. The testimonies of astronauts who claim to have encountered mysterious objects during their space missions provide intriguing insights into the unexplained phenomena that occur beyond our planet. While skeptics offer alternative explanations and caution against misinterpretations, the credibility and training of these astronauts demand careful consideration. The experiences shared by these space explorers encourage scientific inquiry, inspire curiosity, and challenge our understanding of the universe. As we continue to explore the cosmos, further research and investigation into these encounters will shed light on the nature of these objects and potentially reshape our understanding of our place in the universe. Analysis has determined that the objects retrieved are of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing. This is the most recent comment from a defense intelligence whistleblower. For those interested in this topic, the last 6 years have been full of ups and downs in the United States. Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal, who were part of the team that broke the 2017 story, have published a new report that may give hope to those who believe in the existence of advanced beings. According to the report, a defense intelligence whistleblower has claimed that the intelligence community is keeping classified evidence of non-human origin craft that are both fully and partially intact. According to a complaint filed by whistleblower David Charles Grush, the Pentagon, along with other countries and defense contractors, have obtained fragments from unidentified sources that have unique atomic and radiological signatures. Grush also alleges that these fragments have been subjected to material science testing, and based on the morphology of the vehicles containing the fragments, it is suggested that the intelligence behind these materials may not be of human origin. He further claims that these materials include both fully and partially intact vehicles. Grush, an Afghanistan combat veteran, served in the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. This program, managed by the Office of Naval Intelligence, investigates sightings of mysterious aircrafts. As the representative of the National Reconnaissance Office, a top-rated U.S. intelligence agency, Grush participated in the task force from 2019 to 2021. Despite a previous expert in the government being discredited, Grush's evidence are highly regarded by his colleagues. Carl Nell, a retired Army colonel who also worked on the task force, described Grush as beyond reproach. Additionally, Grush explained in a claim that other nations are currently competing to identify UFO crashes and landings, along with the materials that are currently being used for exploitation and reverse engineering. According to Nell, a knowledgeable intelligence source, there has been a hidden competition on Earth for the last 80 years to reverse engineer unknown technologies, and this assertion is accurate. Nell also believes that some of these mysterious technologies may come from non-human extraterrestrial intelligence. Another intelligence official, Jonathan Gray, investigating mysterious aircrafts, agrees that there is a genuine non-human intelligence phenomenon, indicating that humans are not alone in the universe. Gray points out that the mysterious aircraft phenomenon is widespread and persistent, but we have not been able to find a global solution to it yet. The unclassified complaint disclosed to the debrief alleges that the intelligence community deliberately concealed evidence of extraterrestrial technology from congressional oversight, thus hindering its efficacy. Gregory Grush, the whistleblower who raised these concerns, reportedly faced months of retaliation as a result. To protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation, Grush has not revealed the details of the retaliation. The Pentagon confirmed the report's contents in April, although the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence did not comment. Following his retirement in April, Grush expressed hope that his allegations would trigger an ontological shock. The existence of unidentified objects and their alleged crashes has long intrigued both the general public and those interested in the unknown. Speculation about the United States government's involvement in such incidents has given rise to numerous claims and controversies. Over the years, several crash incidents have been reported. Proponents of the crashed theory argue that these incidents provide tangible evidence of advanced visitation. Claims of other incidents have further fueled the belief that the United States government possesses these objects and that they are keeping this information away from the general public. One of the reasons for doing this is they don't want to admit that there's something out there much more advanced than us, and the reason for this is because it could cause panic. If there are objects out there that can easily outmaneuver our best jets, then it shows that we could easily be overpowered if things didn't go to plan. However, believers have said that if something bad was going to happen, then it would have happened by now. Supporters of the crashed theory often point to eyewitness accounts, leaked documents, and alleged insider testimonials as evidence of the government's involvement. However, critics argue that the lack of concrete evidence, inconsistencies in testimonies, and the possibility of hoaxes cast doubt on the veracity of these claims. Theories regarding these crashed objects often revolve around government secrecy. As mentioned, the assertion is that the United States government has actively suppressed information to maintain control and prevent public panic. The investigation of unidentified objects by the United States government has a storied history that spans several decades. The United States' interest in mysterious aircrafts can be traced back to the 1940s and 1950s. These initiatives aimed to collect and analyze reports of mysterious aircraft sightings, with the primary focus on national security concerns. Congressional interest and involvement have played a significant role in shaping the United States' approach to investigations. Several lawmakers have pushed for increased transparency and funding to study these aerial phenomena. In December 2020, the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021 included a provision mandating the preparation of an unclassified report on mysterious aircrafts. In addition to government agencies, the scientific community has become increasingly engaged in the study of these objects. Renowned organizations like the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies and the privately funded To the Stars Academy have worked to bridge the gap between scientific inquiry and public interest, fostering collaboration and the application of rigorous scientific methodologies to investigate these sightings. The United States investigation of mysterious aircrafts has evolved over time, driven by public interest, technological advancements, and national security concerns. From the early military investigations to the contemporary initiatives, the pursuit of understanding these objects continues to capture the attention of government agencies, scientists, and the public, forging a path toward unraveling the mysteries of the unknown skies. It's just been announced that evidence of a possible wormhole has opened up at Skinwalker Ranch. Photographs have been shared by the team who are currently investigating Skinwalker Ranch and its anomalies. For those unaware, the Skinwalker Ranch, which is situated in the Uintah Basin in northeastern Utah, is an intriguing location, enveloped in tales and enigmas. It is commonly referred to as Sherman Ranch, and over the years, various individuals have come forward with strange reports, many of whom have detailed strange wormholes opening up in the sky and noting that they witnessed objects flying through them. This 480-acre property is known for its association with various phenomena such as mysterious aircrafts, strange entity encounters, mysterious livestock explorations, patterns formed in crops, and the presence of skinwalkers. Additionally, the ranch shares a border with the Ute Indian Reservation. The Ute were granted the Winter Valley Reservation in October 1861 through President Abraham Lincoln's executive order. In January 1882, the Uncompahgre Reservation, also known as the Ouray Reservation, was established, and later merged with the Winter Reservation in 1886, resulting in the creation of the Winter and Ouray Reservation. This reservation has served as the home for the Ute for over 150 years, spanning over 4.5 million acres of land. For many years, the indigenous people have spoken about how the neighboring ranch lies on the path of the Skinwalker, and as a result, they have been strictly prohibited from approaching the property. The Skinwalker refers to a malicious creature who can change shape, and the Ute people regard this figure with great reverence. The Ute tribe inhabited regions such as Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico before they relocated to the reservation. They were known for their fierce and warlike nature. In the past, the Ute and Navajo tribes joined forces to resist their shared adversaries. However, when the Ute tribe acquired horses from the Spanish, they started taking Navajo individuals and selling them in markets located in New Mexico. During the Civil War, certain Ute groups joined forces with Kit Carson in a military operation against the Navajo, which resulted in the Navajo being expelled from their territories and compelled to march to the Fort Sumner Reservation in New Mexico, known as the Long Walk of the Navajo. Although the Navajo tribe was eventually allowed to return to their ancestral lands in the Four Corners region, the Ute community held the belief that the Navajo had placed a curse on them for their past offenses. As a consequence, the Ute people started experiencing disturbances caused by the skinwalkers. The Ute people have a long-standing belief in the existence of skinwalkers, and these tales have been passed down for over 15 generations. However, they do not hold the belief that skinwalkers reside on the ranch. Instead, they believe that skinwalkers seek refuge in a nearby location known as Dark Canyon. Based on reports, skinwalkers have been frequently observed by the Ute people in the region. These beings have been sighted near the ranch, along the road to Fort Duchesne, and in different parts of the reservation. One description paints them as human-like creatures with dog heads, while others have described them as being more wolf-like. Another account depicts them as big, black, hairy humanoids with remarkable speed. Witnesses have also claimed that these entities possess unusually large and intimidating red eyes. Additionally, there are reports of people encountering and capturing photographs of substantial footprints believed to be left behind by skinwalkers. The Myers family settled on the ranch in 1905. Initially, there were a few small buildings on the northwest corner of the ranch, located at the base of Skinwalker Ridge. Eventually, the original homestead was deserted, and a new residence was established on the eastern side of the ranch. From the 1930s until 1987, Kenneth John Myers and his wife Edith Myers resided on the property. Although no unusual incidents were reported by the Myers themselves during their time there, Some of their neighbors did have experiences worth noting. During the 1950s, a series of peculiar incidents started happening in the basin. There were multiple accounts of unidentified objects observed above the property, and these sightings persisted for several decades. It is worth noting that this wasn't the initial occurrence of unusual aircraft sightings. The earliest documented mention of such sightings goes back to the late 1700s, when Spanish explorers, who were in search of the Spanish Trail, passed through the basin and reported observing strange crafts hovering above their nightly campfires. The reports of unidentified objects were numerous, with descriptions ranging from fireballs to aircraft of different sizes and shapes, including round, oval, cigar-shaped, and triangular. Some of these objects were enveloped in a green glow, while others emitted red beams or displayed colored lights from underneath. The influx of calls became so overwhelming for the Utah Highway Patrol that by the 1970s, reports were no longer filed. Additionally, local ranchers also reported unusual instances of cattle expirations during the same period. Joseph Hicks, a retired science teacher hailing from Roosevelt, Utah, delved into over 400 reported sightings in the basin and uncovered an intriguing correlation between these sightings and instances of cattle expirations. Throughout his research, Hicks documented numerous accounts from eyewitnesses who claimed to have observed living beings inside these objects through the windows or portholes. In 1994, Terry and Gwen Sherman became the new owners of the ranch that had been left vacant by the Myers since 1987. They were taken aback to discover deadbolt locks on every door and window, both inside and outside the house. The kitchen cabinets were not spared either, as they also had bolts on them. Additionally, iron stakes and heavy chains were found at both ends of the house, presumably used by the previous occupants for their large guard dogs. The Shermans, accompanied by their 2 children and livestock, decided to make this property their new home. On the day the family moved in, they immediately noticed a sizable coyote, or possibly a wolf, in one of their fields. It swiftly advanced towards a pen where their livestock was kept. It proceeded to seize a young calf by its nose and attempted to pull it through the bars of the enclosure. Terry Sherman and his father attempted to free the calf by striking the animal, but their efforts proved to be unsuccessful. When their initial attempt was unsuccessful, Sherman resorted to firing at the animal with a magnum from close range. However, despite being fired at multiple times, the wolf carried on gripping the calf. Eventually, after a few more shots, the animal let go of the calf and calmly stared at the men. Surprisingly, there were no visible signs of injury on the animal. In an attempt to understand what had happened, the men pursued the animal's footprints for approximately a mile before they abruptly ceased, as if the animal had mysteriously vanished. This incident served as a hint of what was yet to come. A couple of weeks later, while Gwen Sherman was driving in her car, she came across a sizable wolf that had its back aligned with the top of her window. There was also a canine-like creature accompanying the wolf, but she couldn't determine its exact species. Throughout the following 2 years, the Shermans and their fellow residents witnessed a variety of unusual creatures within their vicinity. These sightings entailed the presence of vibrant, non-indigenous species, as well as towering, mysterious creatures resembling large humanoids. During an incident, the Shermans witnessed an unusual creature, reminiscent of a hyena, engaging in an attack on one of their horses. The creature was described as having a low stature, substantial muscle mass, weighing around 200 pounds, with red curly fur and a tail. When Mr. Sherman approached the animal, it mysteriously disappeared. Later examination of the horse revealed multiple claw marks on its legs. Several months afterward, a neighboring resident reported seeing a comparable creature dashing across their land. The Shermans, just like their fellow residents, also witnessed unusual luminosities and airborne entities, with over 12 sightings occurring on a single night. It was during these encounters with unidentified objects that they also faced the unfortunate demise or vanishing of 7 of their finest livestock. Out of these, 4 vanished completely, while 3 others were discovered lifeless. 3 of the deceased cows displayed an unusual anomaly, a distinctive void in the middle of the left eyeball, while remaining unscathed otherwise. Another bovine specimen had a comparable aperture in its left eye, accompanied by a significant 6-inch cavity, approximately an inch in depth, carved into part of its body. The final cow subjected to this act had been observed alive merely 5 minutes earlier by the Sherman's son. A particular cow among the missing livestock appeared to have mysteriously vanished from the snowy landscape. Its tracks led into a field, but abruptly ceased. The ground was scattered with snapped twigs and branches, and the tree canopies seemed to have been severed. Throughout this period, a variety of peculiar incidents transpired as well. It was not uncommon for pastures to inexplicably illuminate during the nighttime hours. Furthermore, there were reports of audible sounds resembling the workings of heavy machinery emanating from beneath the ground. Poltergeist-like occurrences, such as objects vanishing only to reappear later, were also observed. Additionally, eerie disembodied voices, frequently communicating in an unfamiliar language, were heard from above. Additionally, peculiar patterns of flattened grass, commonly referred to as crop circles, were discovered on the ranch. In May 1996, Sherman experienced a significant event that served as the breaking point. While outside with his 3 dogs, he noticed a vibrant blue object swiftly moving in the field nearby. Prompted by curiosity, he encouraged his dogs to chase after it. The dogs energetically pursued the object, expressing their excitement through barks, until they disappeared into a dense thicket. Sherman was alarmed when he heard 3 distressing yelps from his pets and realized they were unresponsive to his calls. The following day, when he ventured out to search for them, all he discovered were 3 spherical, greasy masses with evidence of scorching. Unfortunately, the dogs were never found again. After experiencing these frightening incidents for a period of 2 years, the family decided to share their story with the public. The initial reports regarding the bizarre occurrences on the ranch were initially published in the Deseret News in Salt Lake City, Utah, followed by a series of articles by journalist George Knapp in the weekly newspaper Las Vegas Mercury. George Knapp and Colm Kelleher later wrote a book that provides a comprehensive account of previous inquiries conducted in the county area regarding reported sightings, incidents involving missing and expired livestock, sightings of large animals possessing piercing red eyes that were unharmed despite being fired at, unseen objects emitting destructive magnetic fields, formations of crop circles, encounters with creatures resembling Bigfoot, and instances of poltergeist phenomena. The Shermans had intentions to sell the property, but before they could do so, they received an unexpected offer from Robert Bigelow, a wealthy businessman and is the founder of the National Institute for Discovery Science. He became interested in buying the property after learning about the events from a newspaper article. Bigelow acquired the ranch for a sum of $200,000, with the condition that the Shermans would not divulge any further details about the incidents that occurred on the property. Subsequently, he initiated the establishment of a comprehensive facility comprising advanced sensory technology, field investigators with doctorate-level qualifications, scientific experts, and round-the-clock security personnel. A resident in Texas reported seeing a mysterious object in the sky. The eyewitness submitted a report to the Mutual UFO Network, an organization that investigates mysterious aircrafts, and reported that as the sun was setting, they captured some images of patterns that had formed in the clouds. They reported that to ensure the quality of their images, they snapped 3 shots at once. However, upon reviewing the photos, they were unaware of what they had captured, noting that in the background, a strange black object could be seen close to the clouds. They showed the mysterious object to their wife, but both of them couldn't agree on what this object was, further adding that there wasn't anything in the area at the time the image was taken. The resident explained that the absence of trees where he lives means that there are no birds around, and caused him to rule out the possibility that this was an animal. The eyewitness had said that they are looking for an answer as to what this object could be. Interestingly enough, other people came forward and said that they had seen the same thing, and detailed that the object could be seen breaking through the clouds. One resident by the name of Mary Thompson had an extraordinary encounter with an object that looked nearly identical to this one. Mary described that as she was walking her dog, she couldn't help but notice the sky above. High above, amidst the backdrop of the fading daylight, she spotted an unusual object moving through the sky. It was a large black object, silently gliding across the horizon. Mary watched the enigmatic craft, captivated by its otherworldly presence. She stood there in awe, unable to comprehend what she was witnessing, noting that the object didn't match anything that she had seen before. The mysterious black object defied all conventional understanding, and she detailed that it moved with such grace and precision. Mary's mind raced with questions, trying to rationalize the inexplicable sight before her eyes. She detailed that she tried to take a photograph of the mysterious object, but noted that her phone's camera wasn't up to the task, and the resulting images were too blurry to make out anything. As Mary continued to watch the mysterious craft, a sense of excitement and curiosity overwhelmed her. After seeing these photographs, she reported that it reminded her of the object that she had seen, and said that the black object she witnessed was the same shape as this one. She also detailed that the object appeared to be rotating. The topic of mysterious aircrafts above Texas has captivated the public's imagination for decades, leading to a surge in reported sightings and encounters, and causing eyewitnesses to come forward with their encounters. While the nature and origin of these unidentified objects above Texas remain a subject of debate, the number of reported sightings in the United States is quite substantial, and has led to researchers into the unknown to say that these sightings and encounters should be taken more seriously. The United States, with its vast territory and diverse population, has been a hotspot for unidentified sightings. Over the years, numerous individuals from all walks of life have come forward to share their experiences, ranging from strange lights in the sky to encounters with mysterious craft. And interestingly, due to the amount of encounters that have been reported, it's led to astronauts and military personnel to come forward with their sightings, which many have said adds credibility to these claims. The exact number of reported sightings in the United States varies from year to year. Organizations that research these aircrafts have provided valuable data for analysis and investigation. According to available records, thousands of sightings are reported in the United States annually, and in some years, the numbers reach into the tens of thousands, indicating a significant interest and ongoing fascination with the phenomenon. It is important to note that not all reported sightings can be classified as genuine encounters. Many sightings turn out to have conventional explanations, such as misidentified aircraft, weather phenomena, or even hoaxes. However, a significant percentage of cases remain unexplained, leaving room for speculation and further investigation. Some of the most commonly reported sightings include objects exhibiting unusual flight patterns, high speeds, or abrupt changes in direction. Witnesses often describe seeing bright lights, saucer-shaped craft, or triangular formations in the sky. Some reports even describe close encounters with beings or entities associated with these unidentified objects. The Lone Star State of Texas, with its vast landscapes and diverse population, has been a hotspot for sightings and encounters. Over the years, numerous reports have emerged from various regions, captivating the imagination of residents and sparking curiosity among enthusiasts. One of the most famous incidents in Texas occurred in 1957 in the small town of Levelland. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a large, egg-shaped object with bright lights that allegedly caused their vehicles to stall or malfunction. The incident gained significant media attention, drawing the interest of researchers and investigators from around the country. In addition to the Levelland incident, Texas has been the site of numerous other reported sightings. Witnesses have described a wide range of phenomena, including sightings of disc-shaped objects, triangular craft, and mysterious lights in the night sky. Over the years, numerous residents reported seeing a massive, silent object with flashing lights moving at high speeds. The incident gained national attention and prompted investigations by both local authorities and researchers. Reports of sightings in Texas often involve witnesses from different backgrounds, including military personnel, law enforcement officers, and everyday citizens. Many sightings occur in rural areas where the night sky is free from light pollution, allowing for clearer observations of unusual aerial phenomena. The Gulf Coast region of Texas has also seen its fair share of sightings. The proximity to the Gulf of Mexico and the area's extensive waterways have led to reports of unidentified objects emerging from or descending into the water. Witnesses have described bright lights or strange craft performing unusual maneuvers in the sky before disappearing without a trace. The advent of modern technology and the widespread use of smartphones have made it easier than ever for individuals to document and share their sightings. Photos and videos captured by eyewitnesses can provide valuable visual evidence, although their authenticity and reliability must be carefully evaluated. While the number of reported sightings is significant, it is important to consider that not all sightings are reported. Many witnesses choose not to come forward due to fear of ridicule or skepticism. Therefore, the actual number of encounters may be much higher than the reported figures. Tom DeLonge has transitioned from the world of music to an entirely different domain, investigating unidentified objects. DeLonge's fascination with unidentified objects and the possibility of advanced life began in his childhood, but it wasn't until he left music in 2015 that he began to devote his full attention to this interest. He co-founded To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, a research group committed to exploring the outer edges of science and unexplained phenomena. To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science has made significant strides in unidentified object research, largely through the acquisition and public release of military footage of mysterious encounters. This footage has played a critical role in reinvigorating public discussion about unidentified aircrafts and pushing for more transparency from government agencies. Notably, some of the footage released by To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science has been officially confirmed by the Pentagon as depicting unexplained aerial phenomena. A few hours ago, Tom came forward and said that advanced beings that have allegedly been witnessed by people are real, but noted that they come from time, hinting that they could be time travelers. Interestingly, this isn't the first time that this theory has been put forward. One particularly captivating concept is the idea that unidentified objects may be time machines, vessels from our future navigating the currents of time. The concept of time travel has long been a staple of science fiction, but it also has roots in established physics. The general theory of relativity, formulated by Albert Einstein, allows for the possibility of warped space-time structures known as wormholes, which could theoretically enable faster-than-light travel or even journeys through time. Some proponents of the time-traveling UFO theory posit that these unknown crafts could be utilizing such advanced technology. If unidentified objects are indeed time machines, it could offer an alternative explanation for their seemingly advanced capabilities. Their ability to accelerate instantly, move at incredible speeds, or change direction abruptly, which defy our current understanding of physics and aerodynamics, could be attributes of time manipulation or of technology far advanced beyond our own, perhaps even from our own future. Under this theory, these sightings become not instances of advanced encounters, but glimpses of humanity's future, or humans from the future traveling to this timeline. The beings operating these crafts might not be entities from other planets, but post-human entities, or artificial intelligences from a time far ahead of ours. They may be engaged in a form of chronotourism, visiting key moments in their past for research, observation, or some unfathomable reason. The prospect of time-traveling objects also provides a potential answer to the Fermi paradox, the apparent contradiction between high estimates of extraterrestrial life and the lack of contact or evidence for such civilizations. If mysterious aircrafts are time travelers rather than advanced beings, it may explain why we've yet to find definitive proof of alien life. Our main encounters have been with entities from our own timeline, albeit from the future. However, while intriguing, this theory remains largely speculative. The science of time travel is still theoretical, with wormholes, if they exist, likely unstable without exotic matter we've yet to discover. The theory also fails to explain why these future beings or machines choose to reveal themselves sporadically, yet never make definitive contact. Furthermore, skeptics argue this theory falls into the trap of temporal chauvinism, the belief that our era, in the vast timeline of the universe, is significant enough to warrant visits from the future. Given that Earth is over 4.5 billion years old, and human civilization just a fraction of that, what makes our time so interesting to these alleged time travelers? As of right now, The theory put forward by Tom DeLonge of time-traveling unidentified objects is an intriguing notion that stirs the imagination and challenges our understanding of the universe. However, it also underscores our limited knowledge of both the phenomena and the nature of time itself. To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science also employs a team of experienced professionals from diverse fields, including government officials, scientists, and former intelligence officers. This multidisciplinary approach has allowed the group to investigate mysterious phenomena from various angles, incorporating scientific analysis, technological innovation, and policy advocacy. DeLonge himself has played a crucial role in raising public awareness about mysterious aircrafts, leveraging his celebrity status to bring the topic into mainstream discourse. He has engaged in numerous public speaking engagements and interviews, elucidating his views on the subject and promoting the work of To the Stars Academy. His efforts were recognized in 2017 when he was awarded the Unidentified Object Researcher of the Year by Open Minds, a news and research organization. However, DeLonge's approach to these investigations has not been without criticism. Some skeptics argue that his views lean too heavily into theory territory and question the scientific rigor of To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science investigations. Furthermore, the commercial aspect of To the Stars Academy, which sells merchandise and seeks to develop entertainment content related to unidentified objects, has also raised eyebrows about the organization's motives. Regardless of the criticisms, it's undeniable that DeLonge has contributed significantly to the ongoing conversation about mysterious aircrafts. His efforts, particularly through To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, have brought renewed attention to the topic and prompted a broader push for official transparency on mysterious encounters. Whether one aligns with his views or not, his commitment to investigating the mysteries of our universe is a testament to human curiosity and the desire for understanding. Time travel, a concept deeply embedded in the realms of science fiction and fantasy, continues to captivate the human imagination. While the idea seems far-fetched and outside the domain of reality, certain theories in physics suggest it could be within the realms of possibility. Firstly, we must understand that time, according to Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, is not a constant entity, but rather intertwined with space, forming the fabric of space-time. This theory suggests that the presence of mass or energy can distort space-time, leading to the phenomena we know as gravity. Therefore, the concept of manipulating space-time underpins any discussion of time travel. One of the most popular theories for potential time travel involves wormholes, a solution to Einstein's field equations. Wormholes are shortcuts through space-time, connecting distant points in the universe. If stable wormholes exist, traversing through them could theoretically allow for travel to faraway regions of space or even different points in time. However, the existence and stability of wormholes are speculative and remain unproven. Even if they do exist, creating or finding a wormhole that leads to a specific time and place and safely traveling through it presents enormous challenges. Another concept related to time travel is time dilation, a proven effect of both special and general relativity. This effect states that time passes at different rates for objects moving relative to one another or positioned in different gravitational fields. The classic twin paradox thought experiment illustrates this, where one twin travels near the speed of light in a spaceship and upon returning to Earth finds the other twin has aged more. However, while this allows for forward time travel, it provides no known method for traveling backward in time. Perhaps the most contentious and speculative theory of time travel involves the idea of cosmic strings, hypothetical one-dimensional defects in the universe. Cosmic strings, if they exist, would warp space-time around them. Some scientists have speculated that if two such strings were to pass by each other, a loop of space-time could be created, potentially allowing for a path to the past. However, the existence of cosmic strings is purely theoretical, and even if they do exist, the practicality of manipulating them for time travel is doubtful. Despite these intriguing possibilities, there are significant paradoxes and problems associated with time travel, notably the grandfather paradox, in which a person traveling back in time could theoretically prevent their own existence, creating a contradiction. Quantum mechanics offers a potential solution via the many worlds interpretation, where each event spawns a new universe, but this interpretation is not universally accepted. When we gaze at the night sky, we cannot help but wonder whether we are alone in the universe or if there are other advanced civilizations out there. The Drake equation, proposed by astrophysicist Frank Drake in 1961, considers various factors to calculate the potential number of advanced civilizations. These factors include the rate of star formation, the fraction of those stars that have planetary systems, the number of planets that could potentially support life, the fraction of planets where life actually develops, the proportion of life that evolves into intelligent beings, the fraction of civilizations that develop technology that releases detectable signs into space, and the length of time such civilizations release detectable signals. Since the formulation of the Drake equation, our understanding of these parameters has improved, albeit with significant uncertainty. For instance, the Kepler Space Telescope's observations suggest that there could be billions of Earth-like planets in our galaxy alone. However, other factors like the fraction of planets where life actually emerges, or how many life forms evolve into intelligent beings, are still largely speculative. Consider an optimistic scenario, where life is relatively common, and a significant fraction of life evolves into intelligent beings. In that case, the Milky Way alone could potentially host thousands or even millions of advanced civilizations. Extend this reasoning to the entire observable universe, which contains an estimated 2 trillion galaxies, and the number of advanced civilizations could be incredibly vast. However, this optimism is tempered by the Fermi paradox, which highlights the contradiction between high estimates of extraterrestrial civilizations and the lack of contact or evidence for such civilizations. One potential resolution to this paradox is the Great Filter hypothesis, which suggests that at some point from pre-life to a Type 3 civilization, a civilization that can harness all the energy of its galaxy, there's a wall that all, or nearly all, attempts at life hit. On the more pessimistic side, life may be exceedingly rare or unique to Earth, or intelligent life and advanced civilizations may be short-lived and thus less likely to overlap in time and space. In this case, the number of advanced civilizations in the universe could be extremely small or even zero. One of the most intriguing possibilities proposed by theoretical physics is the concept of wormholes, shortcuts through the fabric of space-time. While we have yet to observe or create a wormhole, they remain plausible solutions to Einstein's equations of general relativity. If a civilization possessed the technological prowess to create and stabilize a wormhole, it could potentially provide instant travel between 2 distant points in the universe. This would effectively bypass the constraints of light-speed travel, allowing rapid exploration or colonization of far-flung star systems. The ability to manipulate wormholes could also open up possibilities for time travel, as the 2 mouths of a wormhole could, theoretically, be connected to different points in time. Such a civilization would have to overcome the tremendous hurdle of stabilizing a wormhole. It has been suggested that a form of exotic matter, possessing negative energy or pressure, might be necessary to prevent a wormhole from collapsing. Alfred Al Worden, a prominent figure in the annals of space exploration, was a US astronaut best known for his integral role in the Apollo 15 mission. His impressive career, marked by numerous accolades and firsts, reflects the spirit of exploration and scientific discovery. Born in 1932 in Jackson, Michigan, Worden showed an early interest in aviation. After graduating from the US Military Academy at West Point, he joined the US Air Force, where he served as a pilot, ultimately amassing over 4,000 hours of flight time. He later earned master's degrees in astronautical and aeronautical engineering and instrumentation engineering from the University of Michigan, reflecting his commitment to education and his passion for space. Worden was selected for NASA's astronaut group in 1966, during the height of the Apollo program. His initial role involved supporting the Apollo 9 and Apollo 12 missions from the ground, gaining invaluable experience before his assignment as the command module pilot for Apollo 15 in 1971. Apollo 15 was NASA's 4th manned mission to land on the Moon, but unlike the previous missions, it focused more on scientific exploration. Throughout history, the notion that humans were created by advanced beings has served as a source of inspiration for numerous authors and researchers. Despite being considered as far-fetched by mainstream science, a wealth of compelling evidence has been discovered worldwide by researchers to support this theory. Those who believe in this research have said that there's a significant link between the development of civilizations and advanced entities, and that this is evident in the historical accounts preserved in ancient manuscripts and clay tablets that have endured for millennia. During an interview with Good Morning Britain, Al Warden shared intriguing thoughts on the existence of advanced life. In addition to his space exploration endeavors, Warden expressed a belief in the theory that humans have ancestral connections to ancient advanced beings. During a 2017 appearance on the British television programme Good Morning Britain, he delivered a surprising response to a question about the justification for spending significant funds on space exploration in the midst of numerous challenges plaguing our planet. Specifically, he was queried about his belief in the existence of advanced life. His unexpected answer likely caught the attention of everyone watching the interview. The ex-Apollo 15 astronaut stated that aliens not only exist, but they also visited Earth in ancient times and played a role in the creation of our civilization. To find evidence supporting this claim, one simply needs to examine ancient Sumerian literature. Based on his statements, he held strong faith in the ancient texts of Sumerian civilization. These scriptures depict a time when humans and deities coexisted, with humans serving as the subjects of the gods, and each Sumerian city having its own divine protector. The oldest known account of a Sumerian creation myth was discovered on a tablet unearthed in Nippur, an ancient Mesopotamian city, in 1893. Based on ancient cuneiform tablets, it is believed that Earth was initially governed by deities who resembled humans. These divine beings, upon their arrival on Earth, transformed the planet into a hospitable environment through agricultural cultivation and mining of valuable resources. Moreover, the tablets make reference to a conflict that arose between the gods and their working class. Al Warden said the following: "We are the aliens, but we just think they are somebody else. But we are the ones who came from somewhere else, because somebody else had to survive, and they got into little spacecrafts, and then they came here and landed, and they started civilization here. And if you don't believe me, go get books on ancient Sumerians and see what they had to say. They'll tell you right up front." End quote. Al Warden passed away shortly after this interview. The ancient Sumerians were not only pioneers in fields such as writing, agriculture, and law, but also held intricate beliefs about the origins of humanity. These beliefs, documented in various myths and religious texts, provide fascinating insights into Sumerian cosmology and their understanding of the world. Sumerian mythology paints a rich and vivid picture of the cosmos. At the beginning, they believed, there existed only the primeval sea, which gave birth to heaven and earth. These cosmic entities in turn bore several deities, forming the Sumerian pantheon. Among these were the Anunnaki, a group of deities who were the primary figures in Sumerian cosmology and were instrumental in the creation of humanity. One of the most crucial texts describing human origins is the myth of Enki and Ninmah. According to this narrative, the gods, burdened by the toil of shaping the earth, implored Enki, the god of wisdom and water, to devise a solution. In response, Enki and the birth goddess Ninmah created humans from clay. These beings were intended to bear the labor of the gods, allowing the divine beings to live in leisure. In these stories, the Sumerians depicted humans as being inherently linked to the divine, yet subordinate to it. We were created from the same earth that the gods had shaped, and our primary function was to serve the divine. The Sumerians believed their cities were owned by gods, and that their kingship descended from heaven, reinforcing this notion of serving the divine. Another Sumerian text, the Eridu Genesis, presents a similar narrative, highlighting the Sumerians' view of a direct relationship between gods and humans. However, it also introduces the concept of a catastrophic flood sent by the gods, where only a few selected individuals are saved, a motif that would recur in later Mesopotamian and Abrahamic traditions. It is important to note that Sumerian myths offer different versions and names regarding the creation of humans, reflecting the city-state-based nature of Sumerian civilization, where local deities and myths held sway. Yet, the common thread running through these narratives is the depiction of humanity's creation as a divine act, and humans as beings intended to serve the gods. Enki, a central figure in ancient Sumerian mythology, is a god renowned for his wisdom, creative power, and association with water. His character and narratives significantly influenced Sumerian cosmology, social structure, and understanding of humanity's purpose. Enki, also known as Ea in Akkadian mythology, was believed to reside in the Abzu, the freshwater sea beneath the earth. As the lord of this subterranean aquatic realm, Enki held dominion over all forms of water, including rivers, wells, and rainfall. This association with life-giving water underpinned his role as a fertility god, vital to agriculture in the Sumerian civilization. Beyond his connection to water, Enki was revered as the god of wisdom and intelligence. He was believed to possess the Mi, divine decrees that formed the foundation of civilization, encompassing elements such as social norms, moral codes, technological knowledge, and arts. Enki's possession of the Mi made him integral to the functioning and maintenance of societal order and progress in Sumerian belief. In the Sumerian creation myth, Enki played a crucial role. As mentioned in the myth Enki and Ninmah, the gods, burdened by the labor of crafting the world, appealed to Enki for a solution. Dr. Milton Wainwright seeks to persuade the public that he has discovered advanced life hovering approximately 25 miles above Earth's surface. However, despite the eagerness of tabloids to embrace his narrative, the scientific community remains hesitant to endorse his findings. If one were to come across life existing at an altitude of 25 miles above the surface, it would undoubtedly be an extraordinary occurrence. Traditional aircraft do not reach such heights, and although it is arguable whether powerful volcanic eruptions could disperse living cells to such altitudes, there is no evidence to suggest that a volcanic eruption was responsible for this discovery. Therefore, if any form of life were indeed able to float at such heights, it would undoubtedly merit thorough investigation. Oddly enough, further investigations haven't occurred, and the scientific world doesn't want to pursue this discovery any further. So, why haven't scientists shown more interest in this phenomenon? Dr. Wainwright, a microbiologist employed in the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology at the University of Sheffield, has been attempting to inform the scientific community about his belief that Earth is being actively targeted by advanced beings. According to his theory, these advanced life forms are implanting minuscule living probes into our atmosphere using microscopic metal spheres, which are intelligently designed to seed life on our planet. Predictably, this assertion was met with skepticism among researchers, prompting him to adopt an alternative strategy. The teacher sent his findings to his students via email, and a portion of them shared it on various social media platforms. So, what is the reason behind the lack of belief from the majority? The evidence is interesting, and one photograph shows a mysterious orb that appears to contain an unidentified biological ooze. Additionally, his studies have been published in the Journal of Cosmology, a publication that has faced criticism for its questionable peer review process and outdated design from the 1990s. Also, scientists and researchers that have presented their research into advanced life usually get looked down upon by the scientific world, with some scientists going as far as refusing to talk about the subject. Dr. Wainwright clarified that the critics argue that the samples we collected could have originated from Earth. They believe that there must be a process that can carry these particles from Earth to the stratosphere. The DNA-containing masses and other peculiar organisms we have identified are not related to pollen, grass, or fungal spores found on our sampler. If our organisms had indeed come from Earth, they would have been contaminated with typical Earth organisms, but this is not the case. Based on his statements, the organisms exhibit DNA presence and possess masses exceeding the size threshold for particles that can be transported from Earth to this altitude. Additionally, he assures that he thoroughly examined for potential contamination using high-altitude balloons. Dr. Wainwright informed scientists that they conducted an experiment involving balloons and a sampler, and they discovered that there was no pollen or grass present in the samples. This suggests that the samples were completely pure and unaffected by any outside contamination. Based on these findings, Dr. Wainwright believes that the organisms found in the samples are likely originating from space. He further explains that whenever we venture outside, we are constantly bombarded with organisms that originate from space. Wainwright has previously reported similar findings on multiple occasions. In 2013, he observed a similar phenomenon suspended 16 miles above the Earth's surface. As mentioned, he shared an image depicting a small metallic sphere emitting a viscous substance collected from the Earth's stratosphere by a balloon. However, his research did not undergo proper approval or recognition, and nobody has attempted to replicate his findings. It leaves us wondering whether Wainwright's discoveries are simply a peculiar outcome of scientific exploration, or if they hold significant meaning. The truth remains uncertain. Panspermia, an ancient concept rejuvenated by modern astrobiological research, hypothesizes that life exists throughout the universe, distributed by cosmic dust, meteoroids, asteroids, comets, planetoids, and spacecraft, in the form of microbial life forms or biochemical precursors of life. In its simplest form, panspermia suggests that life, or the necessary elements to initiate life, could survive the inhospitable vacuum of space, encased in cosmic bodies, and be dispersed throughout the cosmos. This notion offers a counter-perspective to the conventional idea that life began on Earth, asserting that our planet might instead have been seeded by advanced life. This transference of life could occur through various mechanisms. Lithopanspermia involves rocks or other matter being ejected from a planet due to a significant event like an asteroid impact. This ejected matter, potentially containing microbial life or its precursors, could travel through space and eventually land on another planet. If the new planet's conditions were hospitable, the contained life forms could propagate, effectively seeding life. Alternatively, radiopanspermia proposes that tiny life forms or organic molecules could be pushed across space by the radiation pressure from stars. The theory of panspermia, once consigned to the realm of science fiction, has gradually found support from various scientific observations and experiments. First, some microorganisms, such as tardigrades and specific types of bacteria, have exhibited impressive resilience to the harsh conditions of space, including extreme temperature fluctuations, vacuum conditions, and cosmic radiation. This extreme resilience underpins the viability of panspermia. Secondly, organic molecules, the building blocks of life, have been discovered in meteorites, comets, and interstellar dust clouds, suggesting that these essential ingredients for life are not exclusive to Earth, but are widespread in the cosmos. Perhaps the most compelling support for panspermia comes from the rapid emergence of life on Earth. Geological records indicate that life sprang up on Earth relatively soon after the planet became habitable. This abrupt appearance of life has led some scientists to speculate that life might have originated elsewhere and been transported to Earth. If panspermia is accurate, it raises fascinating possibilities about the prevalence and diversity of life in the universe. The seeding of life on Earth could imply that life originated from a location in the cosmos, with conditions more favorable to life's genesis, potentially Mars, or even a different star system. This idea is testable. Discovering evidence of past or present life on Mars or other celestial bodies, and analyzing their biochemistry, could reveal a shared ancestry with terrestrial life. However, panspermia does not answer the fundamental question, how and where did life first originate? It merely suggests that life's birthplace could be somewhere other than Earth. Understanding life's origin, therefore, remains one of the biggest unsolved puzzles. Panspermia also significantly broadens the potential habitats for advanced life, extending them beyond planets and moons to include interstellar dust clouds, meteorites, and other celestial bodies. Consequently, it has considerable implications for astrobiology and the search for advanced life. While we have yet to confirm panspermia, the theory forces us to rethink the conventional Earth-centric perspective on life's origin and distribution. It nudges us to regard life as a cosmic, rather than a terrestrial phenomenon, shaped by galactic dynamics and planetary evolution. The question of whether life exists beyond Earth has fascinated humans for centuries. As our understanding of the cosmos expands, we have come to realize that the conditions for life might not be as unique as once believed. The first point to consider is our definition of life. Terrestrially, life is characterized by a set of features, including the ability to grow, reproduce, respond to environmental changes, and undergo evolution. However, life elsewhere in the universe might not follow these exact principles. Therefore, astrobiology often seeks to identify biosignatures, signs of past or present life, such as certain chemical imbalances or structures that would indicate the presence of living organisms. Next, we must consider the conditions needed for life as we understand it. Life on Earth requires a stable source of energy, like our sun, and a suitable environment, such as the presence of water, and an atmosphere with the right chemical components. With this understanding, astrobiologists have been able to identify numerous habitable zones around other stars where conditions might be right for life as we know it. Tim Gallaudet, a retired Rear Admiral in the United States Navy, just said the following: "I think it's about time we disclose that we are in contact with non-human intelligence. That's what needs to be put out there in the public." End quote. Former Rear Admiral of the United States Navy, Tim Gallaudet, expresses his conviction in the credibility of UFO whistleblowers, such as David Grush, who claim that the government is involved in clandestine operations to retrieve non-human entities. Vice Admiral Tim Gallaudet, in an interview, expressed the ongoing quest to gain deeper insights into this cutting-edge technology. He said that its potential to provide a significant advantage in any military confrontation is a subject of great interest and study. It is a compelling justification for maintaining secrecy regarding the nature of the technology. He continued by saying that taking into consideration the foreseeable future, it is our intention to avoid divulging and revealing the entirety of the recovered technology. Our objective is to provide a comprehensive picture of the situation without compromising the details of the technology in question. In the present moment, he believes it is vital for us to acknowledge and reveal our interactions with intelligence that is not of human origin. This essential information should be shared with the public, allowing for a greater understanding and awareness of this phenomenon. It is crucial to provide a comprehensive account of our engagement with non-human intelligence. Gallaudet made an additional statement about these unidentified flying objects, asserting that we are indeed encountering beings of non-human origin who possess technology beyond our comprehension, accompanied by motives that remain elusive. The individual in question is an expert in oceanography who has held significant positions within the U.S. Department of Commerce. Specifically, they have served as the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere, as well as acting Under Secretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere and acting Administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. With an extensive background in this field, they have played a crucial role in shaping policies and initiatives related to marine and atmospheric sciences. During his time serving in the Navy, he firmly asserts that he encountered video evidence of unidentified flying objects. This intriguing claim adds a new layer of intrigue to his military experiences. The subject of extraterrestrial or non-human intelligence has been a topic of intense debate and skepticism for many years. Publicly acknowledging one's belief in these phenomena has often been met with criticism and social stigma. Ever since reports of these allegations began to circulate in the media, there has been a noticeable shift in the overall narrative. The frequency of various incidents involving the government has significantly increased, further contributing to this evolving storyline. Skepticism, a prevailing tendency among humans, plays a crucial role in fostering a clearer and more insightful comprehension of the world we inhabit. By fostering a healthy dose of skepticism, we are able to navigate and engage with our reality more effectively. However, when it comes to certain subjects like the existence of extraterrestrial life or unidentified flying objects, many individuals opt to draw a distinct boundary, remaining skeptical or dismissing such notions outright. Over the past 6 years, there has been a concerted effort to ensure credibility and legitimacy by involving both the military forces and the scientific community. On a significant date, specifically Thursday, May 18th, an esteemed professor from Stanford University made an appearance at the SALT Forum in the bustling city of New York. This noteworthy event saw the dissemination of a concise video showcasing the remarkable assertions made by none other than Professor Nolan, a highly respected and influential figure in his field. Eager to establish his expertise, the video captures an inquiry regarding his credentials, ensuring that the audience understands his unparalleled qualifications to discuss the subject matter at hand. Within the hallowed halls of Stanford University, Dr. Gary P. Nolan, holds a prominent position within the eminent pathology and immunology department. Throughout his illustrious career, he has made significant contributions in the realm of cancer research, a field that has seen extensive collaboration between the esteemed institution and the United States government spanning numerous decades. Given this impressive background, it is without a doubt that Dr. Nolan stands as the epitome of a specialist capable of providing a scientific perspective on the likelihood of extraterrestrial life existing on our very own planet. The assertions put forth by the individual in question are certainly not meant for those who are easily startled. As soon as this bold claim was made, it caused a stir among the general public, prompting gasps of surprise. If the same statement had originated from a typical UFO enthusiast conducting independent research, it likely would have been dismissed without much consideration. However, Dr. Gary Nolan's credibility is firmly established due to his connections with the government and his extensive contributions in this field. In fact, despite being dubbed a skeptic by the most fervent proponents of this subject, Dr. Nolan consistently opts for a scientific approach when evaluating various cases that come his way. One cannot help but be intrigued by Dr. Nolan's unwavering certainty when it comes to the existence of non-human intelligence on planet Earth. He staunchly maintains that such intelligence has already established a profound presence, leaving no room for doubt. Furthermore, he firmly reiterates his conviction by insisting that the case is a matter of absolute certainty, devoid of any ambiguity. However, it is particularly noteworthy that his claim regarding the involvement of the American government in UFO crash retrieval programs is shrouded in mystery, as he refrained from divulging specific details. A whistleblower, who previously worked as an intelligence official, has come forward to provide Congress and the intelligence community Inspector General with a wealth of classified information. This information pertains to highly secretive programs that the whistleblower claims involve the recovery of both fully intact and partially intact objects of non-human origin. These objects are believed to be of extraterrestrial nature. According to the individual, he claims that vital information has been unlawfully concealed from Congress. Additionally, he has taken the initiative to file a formal complaint stating that he faced illegal repercussions for his act of confidentiality, disclosing this important information. It is important to note that this particular report reveals these allegations for the very first time. Numerous intelligence officials, both currently serving and former, who possess insights into these programs from their experiences in various agencies, have independently shared similar and corroborating information. This information has been provided through official channels as well as unofficially. The individual who brought attention to the issue, David Charles Grush, is not only a whistleblower but also has an impressive background as a former combat officer in Afghanistan. He has served in key positions within the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office, both renowned institutions. Notably, from 2019 to 2021, Grush assumed the role of the NRO's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, which signifies his expertise and involvement in this field. The establishment of the task force aimed at exploring the enigmatic occurrences that were formerly referred to as unidentified flying objects, now officially termed as unidentified anomalous phenomena. Originally led by the Department of the Navy under the Office of the Under-Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, this task force has undergone a restructuring and expansion, resulting in the creation of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. The expanded mission of this office encompasses the investigation of anomalous objects, not only in the skies, but also those operating beneath the surface of the water. Grush revealed that the process of recovering fragmented pieces and even intact vehicles has been ongoing for several decades. This has been accomplished not only by the government, but also by its allies and defense contractors. Through detailed analysis, it has been concluded that the retrieved objects possess extraordinary characteristics, indicating their origin is not of human intelligence. These objects exhibit unique vehicle structures, undergo rigorous material science testing, and display distinctive atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. Such findings raise intriguing questions about their extraterrestrial or unknown origins. The continuous efforts in this field have provided us with a comprehensive understanding of these phenomena, enriching our knowledge and prompting further exploration. In his complaint submission, Grush has retained legal representation from a highly experienced lawyer who previously held the position of the original Intelligence Community Inspector General. Grush emphasized that the discussion does not revolve around mundane origins or identities, pointing out that his previous communication with Congress and the current ICIG goes beyond that. He further elaborated on the nature of the material, stating that it consists of both complete and partially complete vehicles. Grush adhered to the established protocols by submitting the information he planned to share with us to the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review, which operates within the Department of Defense. It is essential to highlight that all the statements made by Grush, which were officially documented, gained the approval for unrestricted disclosure on both April 4th and 6th, 2023. These approvals were granted through the examination of pertinent documents. By following the required procedures, Grush ensured that the information he provided was in compliance with the established guidelines and regulations. According to a reputable lawyer who is involved in bringing whistleblowers to Congress, the US military allegedly retrieved a crashed unidentified object that had the capability to distort space-time and was larger internally than it appeared externally. Daniel Sheehan claims that he was informed about an astonishing story by a knowledgeable source who purportedly participated in a covert program dedicated to recovering crashed advanced spacecraft. This individual has allegedly briefed the staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The attorney's account is the most recent addition to a series of astounding assertions this week about unidentified objects in the possession of the government. This sequence began with a public interview featuring David Grush, a former high-ranking officer in Air Force intelligence, who claimed that the US government has multiple crashed vehicles of advanced origin. The Department of Defense has come forward and said that they have not found any credible evidence to substantiate the claims made. Sheehan has been assisting individuals like Grush in coming forward to Congress in an effort to reveal what he perceives as a government lie to hide encounters with beings from outer space. The lawyer informed news outlets that he was told about a particular incident of recovery by someone who claimed to have insider knowledge of a crash retrieval program. This incident involved a partially buried 30-foot saucer with extraordinary characteristics. According to Sheehan, they made an attempt to attach a bulldozer to the object in order to remove it. Surprisingly, when they pulled, the object came out in a triangular shape, resembling a piece of pie, almost as if it was intentionally designed that way. As soon as it became dislodged by a few feet, they promptly halted their actions. Their intention was to avoid compromising the structural soundness of the apparatus. During the exploration, an individual entered the structure and was astounded by its vastness, which was comparable to that of a football stadium. The individual experienced feelings of unease and nausea due to the disorienting nature of the immense interior space. The dimensions of the object were comparable to that of a football stadium, but its external diameter measured only around 30 feet. According to Sheehan, the presence of warped dimensions extends beyond just space around the spacecraft. According to knowledgeable physicists, it is theoretically possible to manipulate space-time around an advanced spacecraft in order to counteract the force of gravity. However, Sheehan refused to provide additional information, such as the specific location and date of the incident, and stated that he was unable to present evidence to substantiate the allegations. The absence of specific information, records, and visuals is causing skeptics to disregard the accounts of an advanced spacecraft stored within covert government initiatives, considering them as mere fictional narratives. Military intelligence experts who have expressed their endorsement for Grush since he made his public revelation emphasize that he has exposed himself to significant danger if he is being untruthful, as all his assertions have been formally submitted to the Inspector Generals of the Department of Defense and the intelligence community under the threat of legal consequences for perjury. According to knowledgeable sources in the intelligence community, there is credible and verifiable evidence suggesting that the government or military contractors possess a minimum of 12 unidentified objects. According to Public's report, they sourced information from individuals who also provided information to Grush during the briefing. According to an individual claiming to be a whistleblower, it is reported that every 5 years, there are 1 or 2 unidentified crafts that are either recovered from landings, captured, or involved in crashes. The whistleblower claims knowledge of approximately 12 to 15 such crafts. According to a defense contractor who disclosed the information to the public, there were multiple distinct forms and structures observed. Out of the total, 6 were found to be in good condition, while the remaining 6 were not. There were instances where the unidentified aerial vehicles landed, but their occupants were not present upon inspection. Notably, individuals in high-ranking positions, including generals, have had physical contact with these vehicles, and there is no reason to doubt their credibility. The belief in government theories concerning advanced life is not a new phenomenon. While we have no definitive proof that the US government is hiding knowledge of alien life, several plausible theories attempt to justify why they might do so if such knowledge was within their grasp. Firstly, one must consider the potential for mass panic and societal unrest. The knowledge of intelligent extraterrestrial life could have profound implications on worldviews, religions, and fundamental human beliefs. For centuries, humans have regarded themselves as the center of life and intelligence in the universe. An abrupt revelation that we are not alone, and potentially not even the most advanced civilization, could cause substantial unrest, fear, and even chaos. This potential disruption of societal norms and peace may be deemed too risky by the government, leading them to maintain secrecy. Secondly, there may be national security concerns associated with the disclosure of extraterrestrial existence. If the US government were in possession of alien technology, or was engaged in communication or cooperation with advanced beings, publicizing this information could risk national security. Other nations may seek to obtain this technology or knowledge, leading to a new kind of arms race or heightened global tension. Furthermore, the revelation that the government is incapable of defending its citizens against technologically superior beings could create fear and undermine the government's authority. Thirdly, the government might be worried about the effect of such a revelation on the economy. The announcement of advanced life could disrupt markets, causing economic instability. The existence of intelligent advanced life would undoubtedly be one of the most profound discoveries in human history. While its immediate impact on fields such as science and philosophy is apparent, it also poses intriguing implications for the realm of religion. Religion, fundamentally, is a human endeavor to comprehend the nature of existence, our place within the cosmos, and the potential existence of a divine entity or entities. The discovery of advanced life would challenge and expand these interpretations in significant ways, forcing us to reassess our understanding of divinity, creation, and the purpose of human life. Firstly, the impact on religions would largely depend on their doctrinal flexibility. Many religions have a geocentric focus, with humanity considered the pinnacle of creation. Advanced extraterrestrial life forms could disrupt these beliefs, questioning our central place in the cosmos. However, religions with a more fluid interpretation of their texts and an openness to reinterpretation might adapt more easily. Secondly, the discovery could promote a more universal understanding of spirituality and the divine. Instead of perceiving God or gods as exclusive to humanity, the presence of other intelligent life might instigate a more inclusive, cosmic interpretation of divinity. This shared divine experience might contribute to a sense of unity among intelligent species across the cosmos, birthing a form of universal religion or spirituality. Moreover, the discovery might motivate religious communities to revisit, reinterpret, and renew their doctrines. Texts that refer to heavens, other worlds, or beings from the sky might be interpreted in light of extraterrestrial existence. This could result in a broadening of religious thought, spawning new theological studies and philosophies. However, it's also possible that the discovery of advanced extraterrestrial life might catalyze a crisis of faith for some believers. Individuals might question their religious convictions, particularly if their beliefs are rigidly anthropocentric, or if they perceive the existence of advanced life as incompatible with their religious texts or doctrines. Simultaneously, new religious movements might emerge, with extraterrestrials incorporated into or even central to their beliefs. History shows that significant events or discoveries often give rise to new spiritual interpretations and religious groups. As of right now, the discovery of advanced life would pose significant implications for religion, prompting both challenges and opportunities for spiritual growth and understanding. It would provoke a deep, collective introspection about our beliefs, our place in the universe, and the nature of the divine. It is important, however, to recognize that these outcomes are largely speculative and would depend on the nature of the discovery, the characteristics of the advanced beings, and the global religious landscape at the time of the revelation. In a recent revelation, an esteemed quantum physicist, Deep Prasad, who holds the position of CEO at Reactive Q, an organization specializing in quantum technology, shared a captivating and thought-provoking account on the popular social media platform, X, also known as Twitter. This intriguing narrative quickly gained traction and attracted significant attention due to the nature of its content. Prasad, who is not only an industrial engineer but also a distinguished physicist, embarked upon a detailed and lengthy exposition, meticulously describing a remarkable encounter he had with 3 enigmatic entities that left him astounded and deeply perplexed. Exploring the depths of this narrative, we find ourselves venturing into an unfathomable realm where the boundaries of our understanding are tested. Dr. Prasad said the following: "It's Thanksgiving, and this is going to be a rather complicated post. It's also objectively not a good idea for me to write it, given every scientist has a target on their back in the UFO community, and given that I'm still a tech CEO. Near the beginning of 2019, February 1st, I had the most absurd, world-changing experience of my life. It happened in broad daylight at 9:40 in the morning in my home. More specific details will be for another time when I have a better safety net and can expand more. But to put it simply, I was paralyzed against my will, could not move, and saw 3 entities. These entities projected hundreds of thousands of sentences and paragraphs in a language that looked like Japanese and Egyptian hieroglyphics. I was terrified that I could barely move and was in complete disbelief at what was happening. I'd go back and forth between, convincing myself that I was having some sort of seizure or had fallen unconscious, and that there was no way this was happening, to downright fear, realizing that it all felt more real than reality. I was scared that I couldn't move, and was not in control of the situation, yet could think perfectly straight. At the same time, I was trying to make sense of the symbols. It was incredibly frustrating that I couldn't understand or translate them. The sentences and paragraphs would keep flipping rapidly, and the only English word I saw, at least 3 times, was the word DNA. This means that whoever or whatever was doing this, even if it's my brain, clearly understood English, but was choosing not to use it for everything. The image of my room would disappear when I raised my head a little, but it was hard to do that, and I would feel extremely nauseous. When it disappeared, I realized I was no longer in my room but somewhere else. When I would put my head back down, the image of my room would come back on again, and the symbols were back again. I decided to stop fighting what was happening, and for some reason no longer felt fear, but total fascination. The fear feeling would come back every now and then, but by this point, I was observing everything that was going on. The color of their suits, their size, their mannerisms, and the feeling that my mood was being rapidly cycled. After a certain point, one of them jumped on top of me and slowly walked towards my head. Right before it did this, it was on the ground near my TV, and displaying these beautiful golden holograms in the middle of its suit. These golden sparkles would jump around it too. Once it was on me, it walked towards me so slowly and cautiously, and I felt like I was being treated like an animal. I felt this weird light hitting the top of my head, and suddenly I got hit with the most blissful, euphoric feeling I have ever felt. I will try my best to describe it. It felt like the universe was sentient and aware of my existence. The feeling was of warmth and nostalgia. It was like a reminder that space is teeming with life, and that we're all related to each other by virtue of existing. I used the word oneness, which meant nothing to me before. After a few minutes of experiencing this, I got knocked out or lost consciousness, and woke up instantly. Not a minute had gone by since the experience started. I was heaving and looking around, completely shocked at what just happened. I couldn't believe no time had passed. I still didn't think what had happened could be authentic, but I question it less today than I did when it first happened. This all happened around an interesting time in my life. I had spent roughly 3 months studying unidentified objects, which is why I doubted the experience since I was biased. I was debating whether to delete all my tweets on the subject, because I was starting to think it was all one big scam, and I was disgruntled with the lack of hard evidence. This pushed me over the edge and made me double down on my obsession. I decided I needed to find more people who had these experiences, so I got in contact with the Toronto CE5 group. I booked a ticket and would meet Hal and Lou Elizondo the next month. I needed to know who these people were, what was going on, and if I had officially gone crazy. My life got weirder days after this experience. First of all, another thing that had happened a few weeks before this was someone passed away who was in my circle. We were not that close, but I looked up to him and related to him. Finding out about his passing had me traumatized, and it was affecting my work. Yet after the experience, I realized that feeling of oneness had not gone away. It was impossible to feel fear, and I literally could not feel fear no matter how hard I tried. I felt love for everyone, and it was very hard to make me mad. When I did, it wouldn't last very long and sizzle out fast. I was objectively the better version of myself. My beliefs in God changed almost instantly too. I went from an atheist to being spiritual. I started having dreams of seeing the inside of some of the UAPs we so commonly hear about. Mostly saucers and orbs, and some of my dream characters spoke only through telepathy. I had never in my life dreamed such things until this year. I'd experienced impossible electrical anomalies 2 weeks after it happened, and I started feeling unnerved because I felt I had lost my free will to an extent. I didn't like that this newfound fearlessness, unconditional love and so on were not coming from me. I considered getting an MRI done to see what parts of my brain were rewired. It was unnatural, but extremely good and liberating. If the whole world experienced this state of mind I was in, we would level up overnight. I am convinced all the hate, fear, and anger would disappear overnight from our society. After a couple of weeks, this feeling and state of mind dwindled down until I was back to my normal self again. Sometimes I wish I could go back to the way things were those first 2 weeks after the experience. I had my first sighting just weeks after this, and have had 4 in total since, 2 of which I have recorded. This farmer couldn't believe what he was seeing when he viewed his CCTV footage. As of right now, there's not much information to go by, and no news outlets picked up the story, which is odd because people can't seem to wrap their heads around what happened. Upon entering, his eyes widened in disbelief. There, amidst the hay and dust, lay a gaping hole in his barn roof. The wooden planks had splintered and shattered, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The farmer began to panic as he surveyed the damage, wondering how such a catastrophe could have taken place. He rushed back to the house, clambering up the staircase to reach his office. The farmer had installed a security camera system on his property years ago, mainly to keep an eye on potential thieves. Now, those cameras might hold the key to unraveling the mystery of the damaged barn. He accessed the CCTV footage on his computer. He watched the playback, and what he saw left him utterly bewildered. In the dimly lit footage from the previous night, a bizarre sequence of events unfolded before him. One of his prized cows could be seen falling through the roof, with many saying that the cow was falling at speed and that it was like it had been dropped from a great height. As if guided by some unseen force, the cow suddenly shot through the roof, damaging the entire area. One farmer commented that in all of their years of owning a barn, they've never had a cow appear on top of it. Others questioned how such a large cow would be able to climb on top of the roof. It wasn't long before online users began to put forward their own theories for why the cow fell through the roof. The fascination with unidentified objects has endured for decades, captivating the imagination of people worldwide. While unidentified object sightings have been reported in various forms and locations, one of the more curious aspects of these encounters involves the mysterious interest in cattle. Throughout the history of sightings, a peculiar pattern has emerged. Cattle frequently feature in close encounters. Witnesses have reported a range of incidents involving unidentified objects and cattle. Reports of cattle found under mysterious circumstances often involve peculiar surgical precision, with organs and body parts removed with apparent surgical expertise. These cases have raised questions about the motivations behind these actions. Witnesses have claimed to see mysterious objects hovering above pastures and cattle being lifted into the air or taken aboard the craft. Those who have seen the video suggested that the cow may have been taken by one of these objects and dropped through the roof. The claims sound outlandish, but for several decades, farmers have reported seeing mysterious lights above their pastures. In some cases, unidentified object sightings have coincided with reports of cattle displaying unusual behavior, such as panic, agitation, or disorientation. Witnesses have noted that these changes in behavior seem to coincide with the presence of unidentified objects. Cattle explorations have been occurring for many years, with documented cases dating back as far as the late 19th century. However, it was during the 1970s that a noticeable increase in reported incidents occurred, primarily in the United States. In the years that followed this surge, regular reports of such explorations began to emerge from various corners of the globe, indicating a widespread phenomenon. These incidents, characterized by unexplained and precise dissections of cattle, have continued to perplex and intrigue researchers and investigators alike. Despite extensive research, we are no closer to understanding what causes these mysterious explorations. The occurrence of this phenomenon, although it has never completely disappeared from public attention, seemed to have diminished to some extent. However, over the past 25 years, the situation has taken a different turn. In fact, if anything, these events appear to be transpiring with increasing frequency. It is evident that they are becoming more prevalent and noteworthy. This trend, which has been observed in recent times, points towards a significant shift in the frequency and significance of these incidents. During the summer of 1990 in Vancouver, Canada, the residents found themselves caught in a series of inexplicable occurrences that lasted the entire season. Unusual sounds, reminiscent of machine-like noises, pervaded the skies across the region, perplexing the local inhabitants who were unaccustomed to such auditory phenomena. Adding to the enigma, a resident even recounted witnessing the presence of an unfamiliar figure in a nearby field. These forms of explorations are not restricted solely to the continent of North America. Moreover, researchers in the United Kingdom have conducted investigations that shed light on the potential perpetrators. The phenomenon spans beyond geographical boundaries and has captured the attention of experts worldwide. These experts have delved deep into their research, aiming to uncover the underlying causes and individuals or entities responsible for these mysterious explorations. According to the Animal Pathology Field Unit, there is an overwhelming certainty that advanced beings are the culprits behind the incidents of animal explorations, particularly those that have persistently plagued the Welsh region. The Animal Pathology Field Unit has conducted extensive research and analysis, leaving no room for doubt regarding the involvement of mysterious entities in these incidents. Wales, in particular, has experienced a significant increase in unidentified object activity, which directly corresponds to the surge in cases of animal explorations. The meticulous investigations conducted proved that many of these incidents could not have been done by humans. Investigator Phil Hoyle, a seasoned expert with years of experience in dealing with such cases, refutes the notion that these instances of animal explorations are linked to rituals. According to Hoyle, the level of precision and sophistication observed in these injuries indicates the potential involvement of advanced beings, the military, or perhaps even a combination of both. This suggests that there may be an underlying agenda or purpose behind these incidents. Over a span of 6 months, from 2011 to 2012, numerous well-known show horses experienced acts similar to those seen in cattle. Instances of these incidents were reported from various locations across the United Kingdom, sparking a wide range of theories. Speculations ranged from sinister rituals to clandestine government experiments, leaving the public perplexed and searching for answers. In the city of Shrewsbury, approximately a year before the present time of this account in 2010, farmers encountered a rather perplexing phenomenon. They witnessed strange occurrences involving their livestock, especially sheep. According to their reports, peculiar entities or objects would suspend themselves in mid-air above the animals, emitting a laser beam downwards onto them. During a particularly active phase of these unusual explorations, numerous individuals claimed to have observed strange orange lights in the sky. Several theories and hypotheses have emerged to explain the UFO-cattle connection, though none have been definitively proven. These theories offer intriguing possibilities for why unidentified objects might theoretically be interested in cattle. Some speculate that advanced beings, if indeed behind these sightings, might be conducting biological experiments involving Earth's flora and fauna. Cattle, as a large and easily accessible terrestrial species, could be a subject of interest for such studies. Cattle have been subjected to extensive genetic modification and breeding by humans for centuries. UFO interest in cattle could relate to advanced civilizations' curiosity about our genetic experiments and breeding practices, leading them to study these domesticated animals. In hypothetical scenarios, where advanced beings are facing resource scarcity on their home planets, they might consider terrestrial species, including cattle, as potential sources of sustenance or materials. This theory, however, raises ethical and logistical questions about the logistics of such an endeavor. Cattle grazing areas often cover vast expanses of land. Mysterious sightings near cattle ranches might be attributed to the extraterrestrial interest in monitoring environmental changes, possibly related to ecological concerns or Earth's shifting climate. Cattle hold significant cultural and symbolic value in many human societies. Mysterious sightings involving cattle might be part of extraterrestrial attempts at communication or interaction with our species, acknowledging the significance we attribute to these animals. Encounters involving cattle could serve a psychological purpose, potentially aimed at studying human reactions, belief systems, or societal responses to unusual events. This theory suggests that cattle serve as a proxy for human subjects in experiments. It is essential to approach the unidentified object and cattle connection with scientific skepticism and acknowledge that the evidence supporting these theories is largely anecdotal and circumstantial. Many sightings involving cattle lack definitive proof or concrete scientific data to establish causality or correlation. Although the most popular stories surrounding advanced phenomena tend to focus on the topics of sightings of mysterious crafts or supernatural occurrences featuring humanoid creatures, many researchers often forget that some of the strongest pieces of evidence of intervention appears to center around the disappearances of cattle and subsequent damages to livestock. The earliest known written record of bizarre animal surgeries and sudden disappearances of a large number of livestock comes from an official document dated sometime during the early 1600s, when an investigator for the court of James I of England claimed that impossible to explain mass expirations of sheep were being recorded all across London and nearby shires. It was originally believed that the sudden expirations of the sheep could have been caused by neighbouring farms competing in market production, alongside hungry travellers that were committing theft as they travelled throughout London, of which was the most heavily populated region during the 1600s. However, when the investigations took place, evidence was found that seemed to reject the original hypothesis. According to the court investigator, the sheep were found to have expired through causes that were otherwise impossible to attribute to human activity. Their organs, meat, and fleece remained untouched, with only evidence of possible tallow removal, and blood having been completely drained from the animal with no spillage. Even more difficult to explain was the sheer number of sheep that suddenly expired in what farmers believed would have been over the course of only a few hours. The investigator wrote that in some cases, there were more than 100 sheep that suddenly expired, and no evidence of footprints or tracks that could point towards a group of people having perpetrated the crime. When the investigator asked around local regions that were at the epicenter of the series of sheep disappearances and expirations, many attributed the sight of brilliant fireworks nearby to have been the possible cause. Some believed that the fireworks could have scared the sheep and caused them to pass away in fright, whereas others believed that the lights they had seen in the sky could have had a more sinister purpose. The court ended the investigation by saying that around the City of London and some of the shires adjoining, whole expirations of sheep have been made, in some places the number reaching as high as 100. The phenomenon would continue for several decades before ending entirely. The most interesting aspect of these sheep disappearances seemed to bear remarkable resemblance to modern-day cattle disappearances and possible advanced intervention. When researching mass livestock expirations, it became obvious that cattle disappearances and surgeries are a fairly recent development, with the first recorded instances beginning during the 1800s to modern day. Many believed that the sudden change of livestock being targeted, from sheep to now cattle, appears to match directly with the world market and primary source of meat production during these times. When sheep disappearances, surgeries and unexplained expirations were occurring en masse, the main meat export around the world centered around sheep populations. It's only been over the last couple of centuries that the role of cattle has slowly changed for the purpose of meat consumption. During the 1600s and late 1700s, when recorded instances of sheep expirations were occurring, cattle were predominantly used for labor and secondarily used for milk production. Boriska, a child prodigy, was born in 1996. According to his mother, who is a doctor, she recognized her son's exceptional nature when he was able to hold his head up without any assistance, a mere 2 weeks after his birth. According to her, he commenced speaking a few months after his birth and was capable of reading, drawing, and painting by the age of 18 months. When Boriska, at the young age of 2, attended kindergarten, his teachers were immediately impressed by his exceptional writing and language abilities and his impressive memory skills. This left a significant impression on his teachers, who could hardly believe the young child's remarkable abilities. The young boy has insisted on multiple occasions that he used to be a pilot from Mars and had traveled to Earth. Boriska's parents maintain that they didn't educate their son about space as a youngster, yet he would frequently talk about Mars, planetary structures, and advanced societies. According to reports, his infatuation with space became his primary interest, and soon after, he began proclaiming to have been born on the planet Mars. According to researchers, he was an introverted young man who exhibited intelligence above the norm. With his exceptional expertise in the field of planetary systems, he has baffled not only scientists, but also specialists worldwide, with them saying that he could answer questions about space that only experts would know, and talked as if he'd actually visited some of these places he talked about, something that intrigued researchers. Boriska asserts that he originates from Mars and was dispatched to Earth to rescue humans from an impending nuclear war. According to him, his Martian race was almost entirely eradicated by a nuclear war that occurred thousands of years ago, and he is concerned that we may be heading towards a similar fate. He is raising concerns about the escalating tensions between the United States and other countries, which have reached a critical point due to nuclear weapons. He is cautioning that if we don't listen to his doomsday prophecies, we'll experience the same disastrous destiny as his group. According to him, he is not the only advanced individual residing on Earth. He affirms that there are other beings like him sent to complete a crucial task of preserving humanity. According to him, they are all believed to be reincarnations and are commonly known as indigo children, possessing extraordinary abilities and having endured the Martian conflicts. He states that a significant proportion of Martians attain immortality. Additionally, they are significantly taller than humans, possess sophisticated technology, and have the ability to travel between galaxies. According to his recollection, during his teenage years, he was constantly exposed to air raids due to the active Martian wars. As a result, he had to engage in these air raids frequently with the company of a close friend. It is possible to traverse through time and space in round crafts, but when observing life on Earth, the preferred aircraft are triangular in shape. He said that Martian spaceships are renowned for their complexity. They have multiple layers and possess the ability to traverse the entire expanse of the universe. According to Boriska, despite experiencing a significant nuclear disaster in the distant past, Mars is said to harbor a community of advanced beings. He asserts that there are still many unexplored mysteries on this planet, citing the Great Pyramid of Giza as an example of a structure that conceals valuable insights. Boriska claims that once the Sphinx is opened, using an unknown mechanism located behind its ear, human life will be transformed. The exact details of this mechanism are unclear to Boriska. Boriska elaborates that the incident on Mars was a result of a nuclear conflict among the inhabitants of the planet. According to him, a small number of people managed to survive and subsequently constructed shelters for protection, while simultaneously developing new weaponry. According to the boy, Martians inhale carbon dioxide, and in case they visit Earth, they would require pipes filled with this gas to exhale. Interestingly, many who've heard about his story have said that he could be experiencing reincarnation. Rooted in various religious and philosophical traditions, the concept of reincarnation offers a unique perspective on the nature of existence and the journey of the soul. The belief in reincarnation is deeply ingrained in many ancient and contemporary spiritual traditions. While the specific details and interpretations of reincarnation may vary across these traditions, the underlying principle remains consistent, that the soul or consciousness continues to exist beyond life and undergoes multiple lifetimes to learn, grow, and attain spiritual enlightenment. Central to the concept of reincarnation is the idea that each individual carries forward the consequences of their thoughts, words, and actions from one lifetime to another. This notion of karma, the law of cause and effect, suggests that one's actions in previous lives influence their current circumstances and future incarnations. However, skeptics have said that there is no scientific evidence to support the claim that a nuclear war occurred on Mars or any other planet. The idea of a past nuclear war on Mars is primarily based on speculative interpretations of certain geological features observed on the planet's surface. Proponents of the theory argue that the presence of certain geological formations resembling radioactive fallout patterns or the alleged discovery of high levels of radioactive isotopes in Martian soil suggest the occurrence of a nuclear event. However, these claims remain speculative and have not been substantiated by scientific consensus or rigorous investigation. The exploration of Mars, conducted by various space agencies and missions, including rovers and orbiters, has primarily focused on geological, climatic, and astrobiological investigations. The data gathered so far have provided valuable insights into the history and potential for life on Mars, but have not provided conclusive evidence of past nuclear conflicts. Furthermore, researchers have said that the geological features observed on Mars can often be explained by natural processes, such as volcanic activity, erosion, and meteorite impacts, which are well understood terrestrial phenomena. As of right now, Boriska's story has fascinated many people who believe that in the distant past, advanced beings inhabited the Red Planet. A new signal for a neutron star collision discovered. An unlikely event has occurred more than 6 billion light-years away from Earth. NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory has discovered a burst of X-rays that signals the collision of a neutron star, which could give astronomers clues as to how these neutron-packed stellar objects are built. The merger of neutron stars results in jets of high-energy particles and radiation firing out in two different directions. When the jets are pointed in the Earth's line of sight, then a flash of gamma rays is detectable. When a jet is not pointed in the Earth's line of sight, astronomers need a different type of signal to pinpoint the merger. One type of signal that can be used to identify the merger is the detection of gravitational waves. Astronomers have now found another type of signal by observing an X-ray's bright flare. They have discovered that two neutron stars most likely merged to form a heavier, fast-spinning neutron star with a strong magnetic field. The signal, called XT2, was observed by Chandra and appeared suddenly and then lingered for about 7 hours before fading away. The X-ray image was the deepest X-ray image ever taken, and the signal was located in the Chandra Deep Field South. The image contains about 12 weeks of Chandra's observing time. These observations have remarkably given astronomers the chance to learn about the inside of neutron stars. They observed that the brightness of the X-ray emission stayed constant for about 30 minutes and then decreased in brightness over almost 7 hours before becoming undetectable. This indicates that the neutron star merger produced a new larger star that survived for a few hours before collapsing into a black hole. Bing Zhang of the University of Nevada stated, "We can't throw neutron stars together in a lab to see what happens, so we have to wait until the universe does it for us. If two neutron stars can collide and a heavy neutron star survives, then this tells us that their structure is relatively stiff and resilient. This discovery is invaluable because the density of neutron stars is so large that their properties cannot be replicated on Earth. This merger has given astronomers the opportunity to discover and study more about these neutron stars and the larger implications that their formation brings." Hubble finds 10th planet slightly larger than Pluto. We know of Pluto, the now dwarf planet that was previously masquerading as a planet. So, as of 2006, our solar system features just 8 planets. Despite this demotion to a dwarf planet, Pluto is not alone in this ranking, with others being found within our solar system. Perhaps most notable among these is Eris, a dwarf planet perhaps more commonly known as Xena, but earning its official name from the Greco-Roman goddess of discord and strife. It's only fitting, given the name, that there has been some contradictions and disagreements as we have tried to uncover more about the dwarf planet. Upon the initial discovery of Eris, the dwarf planet appeared to be slightly bigger than Pluto. Because of its seemingly greater size, it was joked that scientists had discovered a so-called 10th planet, which would give Eris the same temporary planetary status Pluto had once held, which would be fitting had it been truly larger. Further research into the size of Eris revealed that while it is true that the dwarf planet has a mass 27% higher than Pluto does, the volume of the planet is still smaller overall. Adding further confusion to the subject, our measurements regarding the diameter of these 2 dwarf planets do not reflect what we initially expected, as observations made from down here on Earth with grounded equipment suggest that Eris had a diameter of approximately 1,848.6 miles, 30% larger than the diameter of Pluto. However, the Hubble Space Telescope revealed that a more accurate number is 1,490 miles compared to Pluto's 1,422. Despite the results not being definitively conclusive, Pluto is generally considered to be the largest dwarf planet, with Eris pulling in at a very close second place. Mike Brown, a planetary scientist at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, California, was on the team that discovered Eris, or Xena, back in 2005, alongside Chad Trujillo and David Rabinowitz. Their research was published in the Astrophysical Journal, and Brown explained that only the Hubble telescope would have been able to assist this discovery. He explained that, with the technology available in 2005 at least, Hubble was the only telescope that would have been able to capture a clean, visible light measurement of the actual diameter of Eris. If this research were to be conducted today, the Webb telescope may be used to carry out these observations instead. With only a few images from Hubble, the team were able to find a more accurate number to determine Eris's diameter. This information has helped to debunk the 10th planet myth and put Pluto back on top as the largest dwarf planet. But researchers did not stop there. There are several ideas and theories speculating why Eris was so deceptively large. For example, it's incredibly bright compared to its small size, making it the second most reflective object in our solar system. It has been suggested that it is so reflective because of the frost sitting on the surface of the dwarf planet, perhaps as a result of leaking methane gas or distance from the sun, freezing any atmosphere that used to be present. Eris is considered a TNO, or a trans-Neptunian object, orbiting further out from the sun than Neptune. Eris is catalogued here as 2003 UB313 and holds the title of being the largest object in space to have not received a spacecraft visitor. Finding that there is more out there than we first thought in our solar system is fascinating. Even though Eris missed out on earning the 10th planet title, it's an impressive dwarf planet taking up a good amount of space. Perhaps one day Eris will receive a visitor spacecraft and we can find out more about the frozen dwarf planet. Exploring Mars by sailplane. The Red Planet has been a focus of a great deal of scientific research throughout the years. From the search for evidence of Martian life to exploring the physical features of this planet, we have been investigating this planet for many lifetimes. The latest stage in this research is underway, as some new revolutionary engineering could completely change how we explore Mars. Engineers have been designing a sailplane able to fly above the surface of Mars for several consecutive days before landing. This sailplane is intended to be motorless and is pushed forth using only the wind energy on Mars. To accompany the technology that is already keeping their eyes on Mars, engineers are working on a new piece of equipment to help us probe further within the red planet. A team of engineers based at the University of Arizona and research scientist Alexandra Kling from NASA's Mars Climate Modeling Center have been working on lightweight, motorless sailplanes that will be able to roam around Mars. The sailplanes will be fitted with temperature sensors, gas sensors, and cameras, yet the current design suggests they will weigh only 11 pounds per plane. It was this ambitious plan that led to NASA's Ingenuity. Ingenuity has the nickname Ginny and is a small-scale robotic coaxial rotor helicopter that made it to Mars in 2020, alongside the Perseverance rover. Ingenuity clocks in at just 4 pounds and is the first time we have been able to have a device flown in a controlled manner on another planet. While Ingenuity is an incredible accomplishment, these new plans are far more ambitious. NASA's Ginny is able to reach 12 meters in height and can only fly for short periods. The sailplanes, however, aim to overcome these limitations by flying in directions and manners that best support the wind patterns on Mars. Wind patterns will alter and shift when they encounter physical differences, such as volcanoes or canyons. These sailplanes will utilize these fluctuations, taking advantage of what is present. The sailplanes are designed to move between static soaring when there are enough vertical winds, or to move into dynamic soaring when horizontal wind speed increases. Typically, horizontal wind speed will increase as the height of the vehicle does, essentially meaning that the higher the altitude, the higher the horizontal wind speed. This is especially true on Mars. Being able to send these sailplanes to Mars is another problem researchers have encountered, with the current suggestion being to pack the sailplanes on a spacecraft in CubeSats, a type of research spacecraft known as a nanosatellite. An alternate suggestion would be to use a balloon-like structure to lower the sailplanes into the atmosphere. This research is incredibly fascinating. With this equipment, we would not only be pushing the boundaries of what we considered possible here on Earth, but also advancing our knowledge of another planet in our solar system. A proposal paper for this research project can be found published in the scientific journal Aerospace. Between new observations and advancing technology, we are only bound to continue to advance our understanding of the world, solar system, and the universe that we live in. Jupiter's moon Europa is one of the most intriguing celestial bodies in our solar system. It is a frozen world with a subsurface ocean that could contain more than twice as much water as all of Earth's oceans combined. This ocean is believed to be in contact with the moon's rocky mantle, which could provide the necessary nutrients to support life. The possibility of other life forms in our own cosmic backyard has excited scientists and researchers for decades. Recently, a new hypothesis has emerged that suggests that Europa's ocean could have been seeded with life by a comet strike. The idea of panspermia, the transfer of life between planets or moons, has been debated for decades. However, the discovery of microorganisms capable of surviving in space has given the theory new weight. It is believed that comets could have played a crucial role in seeding the universe with life. Comets are icy bodies that formed in the outer solar system and could contain complex organic molecules, the building blocks of life. In 2005, NASA's Deep Impact spacecraft collided with Comet Tempel 1, releasing a plume of gas and dust that revealed the presence of organic molecules. This discovery provided evidence that comets could have delivered the necessary ingredients for life to Earth and other planets and moons in our solar system. The idea of comets seeding life on Europa gained traction in 2013, when researchers from the University of Arizona proposed that a comet impact could have created a subsurface ocean on the Moon. According to their hypothesis, a comet would have collided with Europa's icy surface, creating a crater and exposing the Moon's rocky mantle. The impact would have released enough heat to melt the ice, creating a subsurface ocean. The researchers also proposed that the impact could have delivered organic molecules and microorganisms to the Moon's ocean. The microorganisms would have been able to survive in the ocean's hydrothermal vents, which could provide the necessary nutrients to support life. The team conducted laboratory experiments to test their hypothesis and found that the impact of a comet could indeed create a subsurface ocean on Europa. The idea of comets delivering life to Europa has gained further support in recent years, with the discovery of organic molecules on the Moon's surface. In 2018, data from the Hubble Space Telescope revealed the presence of water vapor emanating from the surface of Europa. This discovery suggests that the Moon's subsurface ocean could be interacting with its surface, providing further evidence of the possibility of life on Europa. The search for life on Europa has been a primary focus of NASA's planetary science program. The agency's upcoming Europa Clipper mission, scheduled to launch in the mid-2020s, will conduct several flybys of the Moon to study its geology, ice shell, subsurface ocean, and potential habitability. The mission aims to determine whether the Moon is capable of supporting life and provide clues about the origin and evolution of life in our solar system. The spacecraft will orbit Jupiter, making dozens of flybys of Europa over a 3-year period. During each flyby, the spacecraft will use a suite of scientific instruments to gather data about Europa's surface features, geology, and composition. One of the most important objectives of the Europa Clipper mission is to search for signs of life on Europa. The spacecraft will carry instruments that can detect the presence of organic molecules, which are the building blocks of life. It will also measure the thickness of Europa's ice crust, which will provide important information about the subsurface ocean and its potential habitability. Another important objective of the Europa Clipper mission is to study the Moon's geology. Europa is believed to be one of the most geologically active bodies in the solar system, with a surface that is constantly changing due to tectonic activity and other processes. The mission will help scientists better understand how the Moon's surface features are formed and how they evolve over time. The Europa Clipper mission will also provide valuable information about the radiation environment around Europa. The Moon is constantly bombarded by high-energy particles from Jupiter's intense radiation belts, and this radiation can have a significant impact on the Moon's geology and potential habitability. By studying the radiation environment, scientists will be able to better understand how it affects Europa's surface features and subsurface ocean. As of right now, the Europa Clipper mission is an exciting opportunity for scientists to explore one of the most fascinating moons in our solar system. By studying Europa up close, scientists hope to better understand its potential habitability and the potential for life beyond Earth. The mission will also provide important insights into the geology and composition of Europa, as well as its relationship to the rest of the Jupiter system. The Europa Clipper mission is sure to be a groundbreaking mission that will help shape our understanding of the outer solar system for years to come. Potential third planet discovered orbiting Proxima Centauri. Although we have not yet discovered extraterrestrial life in our solar system, that does not mean that we are totally without neighbours. In fact, it is the very study of these easily visible nearby neighbours that has allowed us to learn so much about the endless stretch of space that surrounds us. Recently, a surprising discovery was made about the star closest to our Sun, Proxima Centauri, which is the smallest member of the Alpha Centauri system of the Centaurus constellation and is located just over 4 light-years away. Findings published in the Astronomy and Astrophysics Journal detailed how a team of astronomers analysing observations made by the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in Chile located another planet orbiting the nearby star, which makes it the third planet in this small neighbouring system. It seems that the study of this strange new little planet, dubbed Proxima d, could tell researchers much about elements of our solar system that were previously unknown. Firstly, it orbits incredibly close to Proxima Centauri. For reference, Mercury orbits our own Sun at a distance of 10 times that of Proxima d's orbit of Proxima Centauri. One lap around its host star takes just 5 days, while the other 2 planets in the system, Proxima b and Proxima c, take 11 days and a whopping 5 years, respectively. Additionally, with a mass barely a quarter of Earth's, it is one of the lightest exoplanets that has been discovered so far. Due to the closeness and variability of this neighbouring system, scientists are keen to learn its secrets. However, knowledge of the Proxima Centauri system is actually rather slim, as Proxima b was not confirmed as a planet until 2020. In fact, it was the study of this planet using the Shell spectrograph for rocky exoplanets and stable spectroscopic observations, or ESPRESSO instrument, on the ESO's Very Large Telescope that led to the discovery of Proxima d as mere hints of a corresponding signal surrounding this new planet. After specific ESPRESSO measurements were conducted dedicated exclusively to the potential Proxima d, it was confirmed that the system indeed hosted a third, albeit very small, planet. This achievement is extremely important. Dr. Pedro Figueira, an astronomer with the ESO and a member of the ESPRESSO team. It shows that the radial velocity technique has the potential to unveil a population of light planets, like our own, that are expected to be the most abundant in our galaxy and that can potentially host life as we know it. This result clearly shows what ESPRESSO is capable of and makes me wonder about what it will be able to find in the future. Huge hole 50 Earths wide discovered on the Sun. The enormity of the Sun is such that every aspect of it is almost incomprehensibly large, and that even extends to the holes that develop in its surface. Although over the years there have been many incredibly large holes in the corona, or the extended atmosphere encircling our flaming star, in 2014 it developed a noteworthy hole that boasted a diameter over 50 times the size of Earth. Although the development of holes in the coronal layer is not unusual, this hole was exceptionally large and quickly captured the attention of researchers and scientists because of its size. In fact, it was so large that satellite images captured of the Sun at the time are dominated by its presence. However, these images were one of the only ways to view the coronal lesion, as the variations of the Sun's atmosphere are only visible when captured in ultraviolet wavelengths. Amazingly, despite its large size, if you were able to look directly at the Sun, which you should never do, the hole would be invisible to the naked eye in spite of the fact that it boasts a diameter 50 times that of Earth. This specific coronal lesion was photographed from several different angles by the Solar Dynamics Observatory spacecraft over the course of almost a week and gave scientists the ability to observe its unique appearance and activity. When coronal holes appear, they contribute to generate what is known as space weather, losing plasma and charged particles from the atmosphere of the Sun in the form of ultra-fast solar winds that can affect the atmosphere of Earth. Coronal holes are more commonly formed in the lower latitudes of the Sun, closer to the poles, and are often generated when the Sun is at a declining point in its 11-year cycle. Although this hole was especially large, it did not have any effects beyond those normally seen with the occurrence of a coronal lesion, and scientists were eager to study it because of its large size and observable, although predictable, effects. So, what did this massive hole mean for those of us stuck here on Earth? Unless you happen to live in an area where northern lights are visible, the answer is not much. Coronal holes tend to cause a much more prominent aurora borealis due to the interactions of the escaping solar geomagnetic energy and Earth's atmosphere. During a large coronal lesion or coronal mass ejection, those witnessing the northern lights might notice that they are much more vibrant and cover a wider area of the sky as a result. Additionally, the high likelihood that the increased solar wind will ignite a geomagnetic storm could affect the power and navigation satellites that orbit Earth, as well as radio communication. These disruptions are often not even noticeable by most people and should only be as brief as the coronal lesion itself. The Madison County Sheriff's Office posted the following on social media. The Madison County Sheriff's Office is investigating the passing and mutilation of cattle along TXOSR. Ranchers reported that a 6-year-old Longhorn Cross cow had been found lying on her side, deceased and disfigured on their ranch. A straight, clean cut, with apparent precision, had been made to remove the hide around the cow's mouth on one side, leaving the meat under the removed hide untouched. The tongue was also completely removed from the body with no blood spill. It was noted there were no signs of struggle, and the grass around the cow was undisturbed. No footprints or tire tracks were noted in the area. Ranchers also reported that no predators or birds would scavenge the remains of the cow, leaving it to decay untouched for several weeks. While looking into the Longhorn Cross's passing, 5 other similar occurrences involving 4 adult cows and 1 yearling were reported along the area of OSR running into Brazos County, as well as Robertson County. Each incident occurred in different locations, pastures, and herds. The other cows were found in the same condition, lying on one side with the exposed side of their face cut along the jawline and the tongue, once again completely removed. On 2 of the 5 cows, a circular cut was made removing the insides. This circular cut was made with the same precision as the cuts noted around the jawlines of each cow. Just like the first, there were no signs of struggle or disturbance in the grass, no blood spill, and no noticeable tracks. No predators or birds would scavenge the remains for several weeks after the animals passed. The cause of the expirations of all 6 cows remains unknown. Multiple similar incidents have been reported across the United States, and we are actively coordinating with other agencies to find answers. Please notify the Madison County Sheriff's Office if you or someone you know observes any similar occurrences. End quote. Cattle mutilation is a phenomenon in which cattle and other livestock are found in mysterious circumstances, often with their insides removed or mangled in a precise and surgical manner. This has been a topic of debate and controversy for several decades, with many speculating that advanced beings or secret government agencies are responsible for the mutilations. Oddly enough, many of these instances happen within the span of a few hours, with ranchers and eyewitnesses reporting that no human could have done this in such a short time span. One of the first reported cases dates back to the late 1960s in the United States, but ranchers have said that these strange events go back even further, and note that it was in the 1960s that the reports were picked up by newspapers. Farmers and ranchers began to notice their livestock passing away in strange ways, saying that in many cases, the animals were found with their udders, tongues, and eyes removed, as well as strange circular marks on their skin. The marks appeared to be cauterized or burned, suggesting the use of some kind of surgical tool. The animals were also found without any signs of struggle or predation, leading to speculation that something otherworldly was responsible. Over the years, several theories have emerged to explain what is happening, with some believing that advanced beings are responsible, using the animals for medical experimentation or to study the effects of Earth's environment. Others believe that the government or military is involved, using the animals to test biological weapons or to experiment with advanced surgical techniques. But those who've studied the phenomenon have said that why would government officials risk getting caught, noting that the government owns private land and that it would be much easier to do this on some government facility rather than sneaking into a random farm. The Upper Ohio River Valley investigation. The earliest known study into sudden cattle expirations of the modern day began in the state of Ohio back in 1966, when an investigator known as John Keel began to look into a series of unexplainable cases that were recorded around the Upper Ohio River Valley. The cattle seemed to have passed away due to bizarre circumstances that were otherwise impossible to have occurred naturally. Instances of animal autopsies showed that a number of cattle had passed away shortly after falling from a great height, despite the fact that the pastures were wide expanses of flat, endless land, with no heights great enough to have caused the injuries recorded. Other instances noted that the cattle appeared to have been cut up with precision tools that created perfectly straight lines in the livestock in their thick hide that would have required special surgical equipment. A list of consistent findings were the following. Many of the livestock expirations were made with clean surgical cuts that would have required precise tools and equipment. Many of the cattle found had been completely drained of blood, showed no sign of spillage in the surrounding area or any form of clotting surrounding their wounds. Over 90% of the cattle that was targeted was between the age of 4 to 5 years old. No footprints, spillage, tracks, or evidence of any other animal nearby could be found, including the tracks of the animal that had been found. These discoveries and subsequent livestock investigations stayed within the farming communities for several decades, without the general public aware of the events. One theory as to why mysterious aircrafts might be interested in cattle is related to the idea that they are using the animals for scientific research. Many of the body parts that are removed in cattle expiration cases are similar to those that would be taken in a scientific study. For example, The eyes might be removed to study the retina, or the organs might be taken to study the effects of radiation on cells. Some researchers also believe that the explorations are a form of biological sampling in order to study the effects of environmental toxins on the animals, with ranchers saying that strange burn marks have sometimes been found etched into the ground, and that there's been high levels of radiation measured after one of these explorations has happened. Another theory is that the cattle explorations are part of a larger agenda. Some people believe that mysterious aircrafts are interested in cattle because they are using them as a food source. Others believe that the explorations are part of a program where the animals are being genetically altered in some way. Although scientists and researchers have said that there is no concrete evidence to support these claims, as of right now, they remain popular among enthusiasts. Some researchers have also proposed that the explorations may be related to experimentation or surveillance. They suggest that some unknown agency may be testing new technology on cattle or using the animals as part of a surveillance program. While this theory is also largely unsupported, it is not outside the realm of possibility given the history of government experimentation on both animals and humans. The mystery of the Skinwalker Ranch encounter. Skinwalker Ranch is no stranger to the supernatural. In fact, the area is so familiar with the unexplainable that it led to a joint investigation between the privately owned company Bigelow Aerospace and the United States government's military, the Department of Defense. Over a period of about 20 years, a joint investigation was made to uncover the cause of the paranormal, supernatural, and mysterious sightings made across the area and determine whether or not the cause was a threat to national security. This led to the purchasing of a piece of land that would later be referred to as the Skinwalker Ranch, due to the region's massive amount of sightings of a mysterious humanoid monster known as the Skinwalker. Interestingly enough, over the 20 years of investigation, a surprising amount of evidence came forward that would help to explain the previously believed paranormal causes into something far more evident of advanced technologies. One of the strangest examples of supernatural encounters from the Gorman family was that of the instantaneous cattle exploration that took place no more than about 20 feet away from them as they fed their livestock. According to the Gorman family, their cattle had been in a small field together with a baby calf resting beside its mother as the cows were being fed. Suddenly, the family claimed that the mother cow began bellowing sadly as it ran in circles with a partial limp that seemed to be a form of temporary paralysis. When the family walked to the cow to see what was wrong, they noticed that the calf had been opened up and picked completely clean with a precision that was more akin to surgical tools, and this happened in the few seconds it took them to walk from the calf down the field 20 feet and then back again. When the researchers investigated the exploration, they found that the hide of the calf was too thick to have been cut by a knife and would have required surgical tools and a large amount of time to have performed the procedure, leaving behind nothing but an untouched head and a skeleton picked completely clean. It's for this reason that some have suggested that a time slip might be happening within this area, pointing out that it's impossible for something like this to be carried out in such little time, saying that the area where this is located is completely open and that they would have seen vehicles or people running away. Oddly enough, although these stories seem like a work of fiction, there's so many ranchers throughout the area that report the same thing and have said that the problem is so bad that it's causing some of them to close down their business. One of the earliest investigations into cattle explorations was conducted in the 1970s by the FBI. The agency was brought in to investigate the exploration of a cow in New Mexico, which was found with its udder removed and completely drained. The FBI conducted an extensive investigation, including collecting physical evidence and interviewing witnesses. However, they were unable to determine the cause of the exploration and concluded that it was likely the result of natural causes or predators. Since then, many other investigations have been conducted into cattle explorations, with various organizations trying to find an explanation for the phenomenon. Many prominent organizations have investigated these mysterious events and have concluded that hundreds of cases of cattle explorations are not caused by people playing pranks, and that many of their investigations have suggested that advanced activity may be involved. According to these investigations, many of the cattle explorations they have investigated exhibit strange characteristics that suggest the involvement of advanced beings. These characteristics include the surgical precision of the cuts made on the animals, the apparent lack of blood at the scene, and the absence of tracks or footprints near the site of the expiration. In some cases, witnesses have also reported seeing strange lights or objects in the sky around the time of the expiration. Despite these claims, there is still no conclusive evidence linking cattle expiration to advanced activity or any other cause. Some skeptics suggest that the expiration are simply the work of human pranksters, while others believe that natural causes or predators are responsible. In some cases, it has been suggested that the expiration may be the result of animal testing by private organizations. As investigations into cattle expirations continue, it is clear that there is still much that is unknown about this strange phenomenon. However, the interest in and attention given to these cases have helped to raise awareness of the importance of investigating unexplained phenomena and the need for scientific rigor in such investigations. The ongoing search for answers also underscores the importance of keeping an open mind and considering all possible explanations, no matter how unlikely they may seem. As of right now, cattle expirations remain a mysterious phenomenon that has intrigued and puzzled investigators for decades. While many investigations have been conducted into these cases, the cause of the expirations remains unknown. The involvement of advanced activity has been suggested, but no conclusive evidence has been found to support this theory. As investigations into cattle expirations continue, it is important to approach the phenomenon with an open mind and a commitment to scientific rigor in the hope of one day unraveling the mystery behind these bizarre occurrences. So, what do you make of these mysterious cattle expirations? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.